right, this is us going live. Welcome aboard, everybody. We're about to get started in just a few moments. We shall see what we shall see. How's everybody doing? Welcome, chat room. We're in a little bit early this morning, but that's kind of a good thing. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. That's probably the better one. Okay. I think it'll be all right. Hey, good morning. What's happening, Jonna? What's happening, Jean? Morning, Edward. Good to see you. I have made it. Everything sound okay to you guys? Audio and video? I know I'm hidden behind my wall of my name, but we'll be with you in just 1 second. Johnny's coming back in just a second. He'll be with us today. What's happening, Richard? How are you? We are, let's see. Yeah, we'll start officially in 2 minutes, so good to see you guys. And I apologize if my desktop beeps a bunch in the middle of the beginning of the show because I just updated both computers with Catalina, and the older one took a little bit longer. Let's just say. So, a milkshake with those burglars, yeah. Morning, Steve. Sklar, good to see you. Oh, hey, Tapstream Media. Live from Politicon, where I was yet again not invited back. I think I was blacklisted by the Young Turks. It happens. I would love to visit South Africa eventually, Tavish. It's a great idea. I'm for it. Hi, Cameron. Good to see you. Hi, Michelle. I'm back here. Give me 1 second. Hello. We're about... Okay. CPT is...
Money from special...
Yeah, that's the news. Oh.
Investigation. The Democrats want the testimony as that's part of their ongoing impeachment investigation.
Chicago, I hear the
Capitol
news.
Hill correspondent Suzanne Malveaux today.
Thank you. There you go. All good now? Are we clear?
Everything's good. Everything's clear. Nothing's recording, so we're good to go.
Fantabulous. Although, yeah, you sounded off mic, but I'm sure that's because you were.
Now?
Julie! That's much better.
Perfect.
It's 12 midnight in the Philippines, where Suzanne is. Well, thanks for staying up with us. I appreciate that.
12 midnight.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. Craziness. Let's go live. There we go. How are you? Good morning. And welcome to the slightly less coffee episode this week, I hope. I finally shook most of it. Let's see. Oh, okay.
Were y'all sick last week?
Huh? I just
Were
had
sick last week?
I had a gnarly cough from the fires in LA.
Oh yeah.
It was.
I've been hearing about that on other podcasts.
Oh, it's
People
ragged.
Get recorded out in LA.
Yeah, it's rough. And Ginger, who's probably in the chat or will be at some point, was got to drive down the 57, which is right past all that stuff, And yeah, I've been through a couple of those. I went when I was driving back and forth LA to Vegas once. There was a big fire that had jumped from the side of the freeway into the median, and so there was basically just like flames and embers just going across the street as you drove through it. It was a party. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Embers.
Mm-hmm. This is true. I'm sleepy this morning. There's so much I've just there's almost like no space to like read and get caught up. because of the volume of stuff that's happening all the time.
It's been that way kind of since this last big push.
Yeah. And this was when they were trying to simplify the entire thing. Hey, Amos, and keep it kind of narrowly focused. And now, because of the Bolton thing breaking loose, it's going to end up.
So now I don't even know about that.
Oh yeah. So John Bolton just basically filed a kind of a brief with the court, essentially asking it to force him to testify, so that the White House can't evoke executive privilege over him because he was National Security Advisor. And under the premise that the stuff he's talking about is contrary to national security and therefore not covered. And the fact that like we would be reliant on someone like John Bolton for anything positive is indicative of just how insane the Trump era is.
That's why I'm double clutching on what you're telling me. Well, we should probably save this for the.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's just we'll just kind of touch base on those elements. And chat room, those of you that are here early, I'm gonna go through a bunch of the lies the Republicans have made about the hearings so far and the impeachment proceedings and all the stories that they're telling everybody and telling the news media and just all the whinging they've been doing while they've been, ordering pizza in a skiff with live cell phones in the bill. Like, the number of just the pile of BS is extraordinary. So I'd like to cut into those sort of right off the top. How does Bolton understand courtroom discovery with his filing? Edward, that wouldn't affect this situation. There is no secondary discovery on this. Not in the traditional sense, I don't think. This has to do with the legal right to do something, not the evidentiary aspect of doing something. So what he's arguing is that he should have the right to speak. And the White House has
coming to you guys in 60.
Cool. Has evoked blanket secrecy rules. I don't even know what they're calling it. Technically, their executive privilege overreach is just absurd, and the courts have been kicking it back. And as someone who no longer works for the White House, even though he was a national security advisor, technically speaking, of course he can't or won't discuss national security secrets during his testimony, both I guess in public or on the record, and certainly in his opening statement. But in closed session, he absolutely could. And in terms of him ultimately becoming a witness, live during an impeachment proceeding, that part of it would just be avoided, said we'll discuss that in closed door session.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Live exclusively for WCPT in Chicago, standing up and speaking out, here's Hal Sparks.
Well, I think, have we all become Rachel Maddow now? Have we all just, you get an idea of what your show is going to be, what you want it to be, what you think it should be. You've got a topic, you've got discussion points, and then the news cycle.
The whole show prepared.
Yeah, the news cycle leading up to it just circumvents the entire thing. Now can we start the show off? And I'm going to ask the chat rooms help a little bit in this, and certainly if anybody wants to call in and try and defend the president around this stuff, I'm glad to take this on directly and not just in dealing with it kind of on paper. But can we chop down some of the ridiculous lies around the impeachment proceedings so far, because
I guess
from Senator John Kennedy to Matt Gaetz and all these cretins storming the skiff, there's been some run-of-the-mill lies about this that just need to be addressed. The first one being that they must have a vote to open an impeachment inquiry. So, first and foremost, that would fall under the category of more of a guideline than a rule, but definitely not a law, not required at all. And if you were in a circumstance, the legally, binding aspect of having to do that would actually scuttle an investigation where you were doing standard oversight, stumbled on an actual crime, and they would want all the stuff previous to an impeachment vote tossed out as fruit of the poison tree or as not a proper impeachment hearing. So that's ridiculous. They do not, they have never had to have a vote to advance an impeachment inquiry. That being said, the reason the Republicans want this is not for precedent, not for legal reasons, not, to play by the rules or have fairness. The reason they want this is so that they can say that the vote, which will be largely described in the press as an impeachment vote, as opposed to an impeachment hearing or a vote to open an inquiry, which would be a hair that would be split on MSNBC and CNN nonstop. But on Fox News, what they would blast is Democrats vote to impeach president, right? Before the trial part of it, before the investigation began. So they're looking for that PR win. That's what they want. They want that to happen. They wanted that to happen first so they could go, they're voting to impeachment before they've even looked at the evidence. Secondly, what they would get to do, and why they want this so badly, is that they could take the Democrats that voted for the impeachment vote, lay that over the Democrats that voted for the actual impeachment once it came up, and said that the same people, these people had already made up their minds, that it was just a sham trial, that these people had already decided that the president was guilty, and that's it. So this is all about PR. This is and as is the storming of the skiff, as is every talking point that comes out of Jim Jordan's oddly, is it just me or does Jim Jordan look like he washed up on a beach, like as the lone survivor of a I
immediately pictured the weird politician in the X-Men.
Right.
Who turned into the Blob.
Yeah, right. Or the dude in the in RoboCop who gets hit by the car after getting dipped in toxic waste. So Jordan just has this weird kind of jellyfish tonality. There's a lot of ill health going on there. I think his soul is eating away at him inside, or what's left of it. But one of his his big talking points or whatever is the second one, which is, and by the way, they're going to have an impeachment vote on this if the information they find merits a vote for impeachment. They will have it. They will have a public vote on impeachment. They will present the articles. The Republicans will have an opportunity to address the articles, and then there will be a vote. And there will be Republicans who vote for it along with the Democrats. End of story. Secondly, it will go to the Senate, where there is a trial. This is the part which becomes public. This is the part where they technically get to cross-examine witnesses, and his legal team gets to act as his advocates in this situation.
Court's out of order.
Right, yes, right.
Right. Sorry, I got a little excited.
It happens. It's hard not to yell admit that you ordered the code red. You want me on that wall. You want me to build that wall. You need me to build that wall. So, and get Mexico to pay for it. New Mexico, which I don't even know if you realize, still Mexico. It's like 3 letters away from actual Mexico. I don't trust it. And anyway, so the other one is that these, so he will get a trial in the Senate. He will get to advocate for himself. They will get to cross-examine witnesses. They will get to look at evidence. Now, the funny part is, for me, is that they were like, we demand to see the evidence and talk to the people. Like, okay, first of all of these people used to work for you. So you talk to them every day. So what do you think they know that you don't know. This is not...
No, we need a chance to take away the evidence that we know they have.
Right. This isn't the guy across the street with a pair of binoculars that watched you murder your wife and drag her body out and throw it in the trunk and drive away in the middle of the night. This is your brother that helped you with the shovel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wrote the memo about the murder.
Right. And literally their objection, to them, to doing this, testifying is that they know too much, essentially. So in terms of the Jim Jordan talking point and the Matt Gaetz, they're doing this in secret part. The Benghazi hearings were done initially in secret. There's even this clip of Trey Gowdy. I'll see if I can find it. Of him going, yeah, it's much easier to have them in private because you actually get the information, because in public they're just a big circus. Which, good Lord, is that
a weird moment of like self-realization.
Seriously, it's just the Casper calling the jellyfish white. In this case, he has a I don't know why Siri thought I should be talking to her at that moment. That's very funny. So, yes, Jim Jordan, as he is known, GYM. Yes, guy who ignored sexual abuse when he was a wrestling coach, is suddenly the arbiter of what is fair and decent in America. But okay, so he and Gaetz's argument is that this is happening in secret. And that it's done. It should be done in the public eye, and this is unfair to the president, and he doesn't. He's not getting his day in court. You'll hear this a bunch. Like even Giuliani floated this nonsense before he went persona non grata on all the networks. Boy, did he vanish quick! And don't get me started on this butt dialing crap. That was propaganda. We'll talk about. No, we'll talk about that after the next break, because But
can you? Ever since the clamshell phone went away, who butt dials?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the whole point of a flip phone. Ultimately, was to keep you from butt dialing it. You know what I mean? It closes. Yeah. It keeps your butt away from the buttons.
Keep your butt away from the buttons.
Thank you. Yes, right. Trump Putin 2020. So the argument that they have is that this is being done in secret. Okay, and that's garbage on two fronts. One is, like I said before, the Benghazi hearings, umpteen different oversight hearings are done in private, largely because of what spills out during it can be exculpatory or inflammatory, and you kind of want to get your ducks in a row. It's the same reason you call a grand jury, is you go, we want to make sure that this witness who the cops talked to, they gave a statement, gives a statement in front of the grand jury, which gets them under oath, by the way, and then they go to trial, so that they're standing in front of everyone. They don't reverse their testimony and end up scuttling the whole case. That's what this is for. Let me make sure that what you're saying in private is the same as what you're saying in public, and we're going to get you under oath when you do this. It's real simple. So the I guess the other one being that it's being hidden from the American people. Well, one of the reasons why you also do these things is because this particular, I guess technically the Russian investigation would qualify as well, but certainly this one qualifies as covering lots of elements of national security. How much funding we are giving to an ally, where that funding is going, when it was released, what it paid for, where our concerns about troop positions, our concerns about artillery positions and those kind of things that the Ukrainians had, which would not be great for them if it was made public, because they're at war with Russia. And we're presumably on their side, so we would not want to undermine their troop deployment or positions or any of that kind of stuff, or the timing of particular shipments or any of those things. There's a lot of active factors on this that you don't want brought up in open session. Now, when they go back, there will be elements that the congressmen and women, because they know they've addressed this, will be able to avoid bringing up certain parts of it, and the testimony will already be in record. and an aspect of the impeachment inquiry. So we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. We've got a bunch of these lies to take down this morning.
Oh, sorry.
And and then we're, of course, I got to talk about the bogus butt dialing. Don't get me started. Oh, good Lord. We'll be back.
I need you to start.
Oh, my God. We'll be back. Whoops. Oh, I don't want to crash. I'm okay. I'm fine. Let me just scroll back through. Hi, chat room. Sorry.
It's like they got something to say about everything.
Yeah. Gricicle. I like your butt dialing. I guess your the use of emojis, or technically an emoji. It looks like boob dialing, kind of, though. It does. I'm just saying. Yeah, don't picture Rudy Giuliani's butt. Whatever you do, do not. Oh God. Yeah, the Trump border wall with with Colorado was kind of glorious. Oh God. And then of course he was.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see that part? He's going to build a wall around. Yeah, he's building a big, beautiful wall in Colorado. Big border wall in Colorado. Because apparently he thinks that I guess...
60 gents.
Thank you. That Colorado borders Mexico? I actually do believe, by the way, that he personally would be dumb enough to believe that that New Mexico and Mexico are the same thing. Like that doesn't surprise me. You know what I mean? Like that I can see. But for God's sake, like much hay has been made. I mean, we'll talk. I want to save some of it for the air. It's ridiculous. Okay. Cool. All right. I think we're working. Back up on here. Are we streaming? Are they all on? What's happening?
This is Doris Davenport, host of The Doris Davenport Show. All local, all the time. I'm on every Saturday morning from 10 to 11, right before Hal Sparks.
It's true.
Now let's get back to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, let's. So, real quick, let's deal with the butt dialing nonsense. Okay, so allegedly, this guy Rich Shapiro, who works for, I think, the Washington Post, had tried to call Rudy Giuliani at one point, got a phone call back. It was supposedly Giuliani butt dialing him, and he was saying they need money, somewhere in the order of like $250,000 to $500,000 for the legal fight. And he was saying he was crap talking the Bidens and saying all over the place that, there's a bunch of countries where they were doing shady stuff in. Now, can I just tell you guys, this is not an accident. Ever since, you guys will remember this, when Rudy Giuliani was going on, CNN and all these other places and bulldozing the anchor people on these shows with his little like Breitbart printouts, and claiming that he had affidavits from, I've got 5 affidavits from, people, these are legal affidavits from people, by the way, who had been kicked out of their own country for being sock puppets for Russia and undermining the entire electoral process in their own country. But these are the witnesses he's getting affidavits from. They told the truth under oath. Like, yeah, that's truly meaningful where in a Belarusian courtroom or something, wherever he got it from. But the point is, it's absurd. But his whole point was make a viral video essentially by being a jackass. It's true. And while you're
Are you asking me to do this?
No, I'm not. I know what that means to you. That is totally wrong. No, in the case of Rudy Giuliani, go on the news, make a complete ass out of yourself. While you're doing it, drop all these nuggets of conspiracy theory that will make the news chase the stick, essentially, to use a dog metaphor. And they have to, because even if to go, what he's saying here is garbage, that automatically floats it as if it's a reasonable conversation to even be having. And other people will go, well, just because you don't think so. And then that keeps the confusion ball rolling. And that's entirely the point. The whole point of Rudy Giuliani being on the news, he was not acting. Rudy Giuliani's not writing briefs legally for the president. He's not advising him on the legality of stuff. If he's advising him legally on anything, it's how to get away with things, not how to actually behave properly or to avoid, legal issues around something he wants to do. And especially, for Christ's sake, especially in the case of this stupid phone call. Rudy Giuliani can't go back on Cuomo anytime soon because he's in a legal fight of his own. He is up to his eyeballs in this, fraud guarantee. Good Lord. Company shenanigans.
I guarantee I'm a fraud.
Yeah, right. Do you need fraud? We guarantee it. Why can't you trust us? We know Rudy Giuliani. Hey, man. So, don't I look trustworthy? Don't I look like a guy who would be walking towards you in an empty parking lot with a crowbar, smacking it into one hand, going, hey, it's a nice Volkswagen Beetle you have there. It's a shame if something happened.
We sound natural. Hey, man.
Hey, buddy. That's how I always picture Eastern European thugs talking. Hey, man, what's the problems? In the case of Rudy Giuliani, he's in legal trouble right now. He could, if he was seen on the news, the judge would argue, hey man, since this, hey man, listen, you're in the wrong courtroom, okay? This is Butina marriage license. So at some point, if he went back on the news and started doing this, there was no way that the judge, in dealing with the fact that they were manipulating elections, manipulating the truth, hiding and shuffling money, working with these guys, that if he went on and defended these guys or Donald Trump in the context of this stuff on the news, it would be admissible. He would continue to dig a hole legally for himself now, right? So that's why he's not on the news. That's why he's not taking these interviews, and it's why I think it was another WAPO reporter who had called him and said was trying to reach him all day, and then finally got a hold of this woman who he'd never had anybody else pick up Rudy Giuliani's phone. He'd always talk to him directly, and this woman picks it up and she identifies herself as his media executive. And he goes, yeah, can I speak to Rudy? And she goes, he's not available right now. And in the middle of her talking to him, in the background, he hears Rudy Giuliani go, a-hole, but actually say the word. And she goes, he's not talking to you. He's talking to the television, which I mean is so peak 2019 Trump Giuliani, but just he's not talking to you. He's talking to the television set. So he can't do it anymore. He can't go on the news. So what they do is they cook up this phony BS plea for cash mixed with dropping these conspiratorial nuggets again about Joe Biden. That's the whole purpose. It serves two purposes. It continues the nonsense storyline about the Bidens, and it feeds into this idea that Trump's people, who are all good people, They all wanted to help this country. They're good people. And and these good people are being economically ruined by the do-nothing Democrats. That's the angle they're pushing. So that's what this fake butt dial was all about. I'm not buying it. I'm not playing it. I'm not reading it. It's all garbage. It's a hustle. Criminy. So that's my issue with that. Okay, so back to the generalized lies. And by the way, those of you who are joining us and watching us on all the variant streams about at infotainmentwars.com or on our lovely we're multi-streaming right now. We're on Periscope. If you're on Twitter, we're on Facebook at my Facebook page. What?
We're AOA.
Arrowware. Oh, I see. Good. It took me a minute.
It needs consonants.
Yeah, I know. Aren't they overrated? I'm sorry.
Time.
Aren't they? I mean, think of the career Barbara Walters had. So, point being is that you guys can watch us watch the stream, the what I would call the vodcast of this show live, of course, on any of these sources, and join us in the chat there at any of those sources, and they go right straight through. That being said,
Podcast?
Huh?
There's no vodka being consumed right
no,
now.
it's a vodcast video on, and like it's. Are you get? It's not a podcast. It's come on.
Sorry, it just came from a.
Hey man, nothing wrong with a little vodcast. You know what I mean? Just get a little. Hey man. So
relax.
that's gonna be such a thing now.
Hey man.
Oh, it's terrible. So, point being, okay. So where were we on the lies? The one, it's in secret, and he's not going to get his day in court. And okay, we did those. The next one, of course, before we go to break, is the Shifty Schiff made a statement to Congress, totally fraudulent. He should be impeached himself because what he said was not what I said. What I said was a perfect call. Perfect. Okay, first of all, if it's a perfect call, it could not be misinterpreted this multitude of ways, in theory, right? If it's a perfect call. If it was a good call, people could make their own mistakes. I made a great call. I was great. I was great on that call. These people are nuts. You can say that. Perfect call means he was threading a needle while doing something illegal while trying not to sound like he was doing something illegal, and he is completely convinced he was successful. That's what the perfect call thing means. I was great. I didn't say quid pro quo or else. I didn't, I avoided that entirely. I had a note on my paper. No quid pro ro. No squid pro ro. And, so that, obviously not a perfect call. But the idea somehow that he, in his perfect call, that Schiff made up what he said and entered it into the record. Well, I got news for you. What Schiff said came after the release of the White House's version of the phone call. He was paraphrasing what the president was saying, putting it in naturalistic language and explaining it to people while entering the actual text into the record. In the record, in the Congress, the actual transcript, I guess we'll eventually get in, but the version that the White House put out was put into the record. Before, basically, he's saying, literally, Trump thinks that you're guilty of libel if you do a, wait a minute, are you saying that I'm, like, you start a sentence like that, that's immediately grounds for libel. Am I hearing you right? Are you threatening me? When did I threaten anyone? I didn't threaten anyone. As a matter of fact, they're not getting weapons, so how could anybody be threatened, especially Russia? We'll be back. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. WCPT820.com is the website, link and all that kind of stuff. Also, we're now available as the Hal Sparks Radio podcast, Mega Worldwide, on the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts. Sort of a truncated version. You don't get all the little pieces. You get all the stuff like this that Chris Lavoie doesn't cut out. We'll be back. That's cool. Yes, please, everyone, give me a thumbs up if you could. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting close. How close are we to the... does anybody know the exact number right now? I can't look on my page. I got to open up another...
It says 9.95K.
9.95? Oh, my God. We're so close.
So close.
Close. So close and yet so far. Oh, that'd be gorgeous. Can we please? Oh, and can I just say that one of the most frightening things I've had to do over the last little bit is go look at that 9.95. We're getting there, folks. We're so
I told you.
there's 300 there's 250 people in the chat right now, folks. Come on. Help us out. You know you can do it. You know. Yeah, thanks. And thanks, Can't Stop Lying, for reminding everybody. Blessings, brother. So, patrons, how you guys feel about Monday for Kiss Mini Golf? How you feel about that? Monday night. I get some free time. Summer and Ethan are working, and I'm thinking this could work. Kiss Mini Golf here in Vegas for patrons. By the way, Jackie Schechner and I have started our new podcast where we break down the legalese of all these things. We just did emoluments in the newest one. We're doing executive privilege next, and the legal limitations of that and all that kind of stuff. The podcast will be available on the Sexy Liberal Podcasting Network as the Wonky Donk with Jackie Schechner and Hal Sparks, but the video of it will only be available to patrons on the Patreon. So there you go. Yet another little free perk that we're throwing to the patrons because you guys earned it and are awesome. So I think I posted that last night. It was still loading the video. I don't. Anybody in the chat room get a chance to watch it yet? Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, Can't Stop Lying. Did you get to see it? Did it? Because I literally had to go to bed when it was still processing as they do. Where is episode 2 is on there already. Episode 1 isn't posted there because I have to. Thanks. Because I can't find the file. It's around. I have the audio because I stripped the audio quickly, but I don't know where the video file is for it because I wasn't originally planning on doing that and then did. Oh, excellent. Winky Dinky Dog. That's Stay with me, Junior. Got a great idea. Winky Dinky Hoe Cakes. Hoes gotta eat. Hoes gotta eat. It's gonna be big, Junior. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Yeah.
Wow, it's been a long time.
Winky Dinky Dog. Winky Dinky Dog. John Witherspoon is so damn funny. Oh my God, just a joy.
Gotta eat.
Get mushroom shirt. Mushroom belt. Boom. Opens his jacket. Mushroom lining in there. You got to coordinate, Junior. You got to coordinate. God.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Well, welcome back. So, can you think of any of the other lies that we should address? Besides, we've already knocked down the whole. They needed a vote. We've knocked down the BS about it being in secret and it's being denied his rights.
What about just the hypocrisy of them charging into meetings with cell phones?
Oh yeah, well sure. How about the idea that one of the things that one of the reasons when you go into a skiff that you don't bring in your phones is because they're not secure. Because now, granted, we live in a world currently where the president still has his unsecured iPhone and his unsecured Google device or whatever the other phone he's got is, and uses it willy-nilly, just doesn't care. Which, again, the fact that they charged a skiff with their phones filming inside the place. Even if you just know the dimensions of the room and the spacing of it, there is so much tech available now on the world stage. Okay, it's going to seem like I'm coming to the defense of the CIA right now, but maybe I kind of am, considering they're at least our agency. But there's this weird floaty illusion out there that every program that the CIA has come up with, or spying technology that they come up with, is something that they came up with and didn't reverse engineer from somebody else, which a lot of times is what they do. They discover a piece of Chinese hacking technology or Russian hacking technology or listening devices, and they reverse engineer it so that they keep up with the latest stuff that's out there. But secondly, this idea that our intelligence agency is somehow unique to these kind of plans and capabilities. Anybody who knows anything about how the Russians listen to each other, it was a joke for years. When you and I were in high school, Johnny, the idea that it was just a generalized notion that every lamp in Russia was a microphone.
Yeah.
Like it was a running gag. And
it was a trope in all of the movies we went to see.
Totally. And because it was true. And right now with the Chinese social currency that they're doing, where they're keeping track of your browser history and where you show up and whether you pay your bills on time and whether you're, loud on a bus, and all that stuff stacks and brings up or down your social score, which allows you preferential treatment in society, but in a specifically notarized way. By the way, everybody acts like that. If you're a jerk in public, people aren't going to come to your birthday party. That's the normal organic version. The Chinese are doing it in numeric forms based on all stuff. So this idea that somehow that they, apropos of nothing, came up with these spying systems to look into stuff, especially post 9/11, is absurd. And the idea that's why you have civilian control over the military and the intelligence groups, because you need to tamp down their reflex, because to them, as a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the Russians have access to all of this stuff. And technology these days is so easy to come by that even small countries that might want a trade edge on us or a military edge on us, or simply are planning enormous real estate investments in the United States or our territories or where we're looking, they're going to want to get into every secret situation they can. Even if they're just, if they get information from a skiff that doesn't benefit them, they can sell it to other countries or exchange it for people that have been taken hostage or captive by that other country, like Russia. There's 100 reasons. Like this overt, goofy, false innocence of the entire rest of the globe and laying all spying at the feet of the CIA is just ridiculous. And it leads exactly to the shrug that these guys did as they marched into our own secure intelligence facility with their phones out filming. This is the natural order of things. This is where this leads naturally. And these guys are like, who's spying on us? We don't have, nobody spies on us. The whole Russian thing was fake anyways. The president told me himself, and he's a trustworthy source. And of course, we're the biggest and best and greatest and number one and super greatest ever. So how could anybody spy on our rooms or whatever? By idiots like you walking into the place with your unsecured, bought it at the Verizon store phone. That's how. It is it's aggravating to me, this kind of like faux innocence around this nonsense that just pants. It is literally one of these situations where you hear people like going, we need public hearings about troop positions. You're like, really? This is why it matters who you vote for. You want to be, you vote for people you can trust so that when they're in that room and going, hey, this is a secret and we can't let the whole world know this, but trust me, we're doing the best we can, and we're using the strength and power that we have with honor and respect for human life, and with as much awareness of safety as possible. But if you don't think that, and you only care about it on like presidential election years, of course you're not going to mind. Of course you're not going to care who gets in office. It doesn't matter who's running things anyways. And you end up with somebody like Trump in there, where the death toll from drone strikes, civilian death toll from drone strikes, is up 80% in the first 2 years, higher than the entire 8 years of Obama. Now, all of these civilian deaths are bad. But there's a huge difference between accidental and mitigatory circumstances where you're attempting to not do that, but you find yourself in a lose-lose situation in a circumstance, and genuinely trying to make the best choice in a terrible situation, and shrugging and letting somebody like Trump in, going, it doesn't really matter, he's, he'll be fine, which is the attitude that got him in for a lot of people.
Right.
And the death toll is up 80%, 2 years to 8 years. So that drives me nuts. Oh, and I noticed Drift Glass has joined us in there. I did the Pro Left podcast yesterday. A link is on my Twitter, and it was fantastic. We had a great conversation. I said just enough to get me in trouble with a bunch of people. It'll be perfect. And so I like these guys running in there, and the fact that Hillary Clinton, the idea that she shared secret information on a private server, which, by the way, to this day was never hacked. Like, they got Podesta's emails, they got Petraeus's emails, they got Colin Powell's emails, they even hacked into the State Department's email account. But they never, ever, ever got into Hillary Clinton's private server. Maybe, just maybe, strategically, she knew what she was doing. Do you realize that had the classified information that was on the State Department servers, if they had been hidden on Hillary Clinton's private server, they never would have been received by the Russians or anybody else. They would have stayed hidden. I mean, if you're going to get after her for doing that, you better have the fail in there. Meanwhile, these guys are breathlessly calling, I'm live inside the skiff right now. They never let me in here, mommy. It's absurd. So I guess the other thing, we'll take a break and then we'll come back. Man, this show is plowing by. We'll come back and we'll talk about the denial of subpoenas next, because that's these people shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to talk to Congress. It's a violation of their rights. These subpoenas she hands them out like cookies. Nancy Pelosi hands them out like cookies. She's a grandma, is that what that's a reference to? Or does he just want a cookie? He wants a cookie, doesn't he? He just wants a cookie. We'll be back. Good Lord. How did you guys end up talking about Dennis Miller in my chat room? That's just not right. That's cruel.
That is not right.
They have not confirmed Bolton is going to testify yet. They are asking him about it. Angie, is that not? There it is. Okay. He has officially asked the courts to make him. Yeah. Basically, he's trying to undermine the whole executive privilege thing so he can go in and speak freely beforehand. What's happening, Krista? Yeah. Driftglass, thanks for having me on. We're going to have the two of you on the show. Let's see. You guys want to come on next week? You want to do that? You want to plan for it? Because God knows there'll be news. Good Lord, there'll be news. So let me know. DM me. Slide in my DMs. Let me know.
And there's a chance I may not be able to make it next week, too, so that could be good.
Oh, look at that. They'll fill in for you.
That's right.
60 seconds, folks.
You're such a busy guy.
I am.
In demand. Well, thanks, Catherine, for listening on
Last
WCPT.
weekend was very nice.
You what? The
The
service?
funeral I went to last weekend was very nice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
It's very festive as far as those things go.
Oh, good. That's right. Pop this in there. Don't forget to become a patron if you can. We've why is that not? Click on there, you rat. There you go. Patreon.com/HouseMarks. Best way to support the show. You can also super chat us right now if you're on YouTube. I think on Twitch you can bid or subscribe or follow or something. I still don't know how that works. It's terrible. But Call of Duty just came out. The new one came out, so I will definitely be streaming on Twitch later. I'm just throwing that out there. Oh my gosh.
This is Tom Harmon, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Awesome. It looks like the co-hosts of the Pro Left podcast are going to join me next weekend to fill in if Johnny's not available to hang out. There you go. Give you a bit of a break. And you weren't with us last week because you had a funeral to go to. Sorry to hear that, but you said it was very festive.
It was delightful.
It's good. I am, at my lodge, I am, I'm one of the funeral service providers for any of the Masons that pass. So I'm in charge of setting those kind of things up and stuff. It's been actually a great experience. And everybody is.
You go on their. You go sit on their laps when you know they're gonna die, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
you're roaming the hallways.
Yeah, no, we get rid of them. It's part of the Illuminati. It's a whole big Illuminati thing. I'm talking to you, Alex Jones. Dun dun dun. Infotainmentwars.com. We don't need documents. Yes, and like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We are. It looks like less than 500 away from the 10K mark. Oh my God, you guys, like and subscribe. Come on. It's right there. We need you. Go ahead. And if you're watching the show and you're not joining us in the chat room, obviously I get to talk to everybody in the chat room. You can also leave a comment below and I'll reach out to you that way and we'll have a bit of a conversation post-show doing that as well. So this is... The other one is that the White House can just blatantly defy subpoenas because reasons. There doesn't seem to be and it's curious that the White House is trying to stymie a lot of these folks who want to talk, which is the weirder part of it. It is not that uncommon to use executive privilege between basically two co-conspirators. That there is it is completely normal for in a Nixonian sense that co-collaborators in a criminal scheme in the White House would go, no, that's executive privilege. We were talking about private stuff. Oh, no. That's just between me and the president. Well, that's because you were both in the process of committing a crime. The problem they have is that a lot of these folks who are getting subpoenas are actually going in spite of the administration telling them not to, or the State Department in the case of Pompeo or the DOJ. It is harder to get DOJ witnesses to come forward because those people are pretty law and order. But the diplomats under the State Department, they're coming out in droves. This is, let's see, I think this is from Salon. Several witnesses have defied the administration's orders, but they appeared before lawmakers after being subpoenaed. Thus, Morrison would be the first White House official who is currently serving in the Trump administration to testify. Morrison would also be among, and this is Tim Morrison, who's the top Russia and European official in the NSC, the National Security Council. Morrison would also be among the first officials who personally heard Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to testify, whom, by the way, the people of Ukraine are currently calling Monica Zelensky because of how he sucks up to Trump. Cute. Trump ordered acting chief of staff Mick Mulvaney to block more than $390 million in aid to Ukraine before the call. The network reported that Morrison is expected to back up testimony of acting Ambassador Bill Taylor, who Democrats said just provided the most damning account yet for Trump. Morrison was mentioned 15 times in Taylor's opening statement. Now, did you see the Bill Taylor opening statement? Okay, so he... I think he learned from watching the other people that the Republicans were going to block any of the testimony from coming out, but it was becoming, SOP is becoming standard operating procedure for for them to release the opening statement. So effectively, he just put everything he was going to say into his opening statement. He just spilled the beans almost entirely, and you can read. It's 15 pages. Yeah. And let's see. And I think he had. I don't know how long he spoke in that opening statement, but it wasn't a half an hour. It didn't take him a half hour to read his opening statement. But I will say. And by the way, his official job description is charge d'affaires, which I think is fantastic. He's in charge of the affairs of the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv.
Oh my!
Charge d'affaires. It sounds like a character in a Clouseau movie. He presented this. It's 16 pages long. My bad. He read this whole thing. And for the record, it did not take him a half hour, which is just to remind you that the transcript, quote unquote transcript, the memo the White House put out was 5 pages long and represented a half hour phone call. See what I'm saying? Okay. So he, opens with his bona fides. He talks about, how he's basically served in and out of, the Bush, Obama, Trump. It didn't really matter. He's basically does what he's told and tries to give the best information he can coming back from the country as an ambassador and as a charge d'affaires. That is like a new goal of mine, to be a charge d'affaires.
Absolutely.
I just want a business card that says that, just in the most American Psycho kind of way. Let's see. So he's in part of it. He's talking about just normal run of the mill business stuff that he had. And he said, I returned to Kiev on June 17th carrying the original copy of a letter President Trump signed the day after I met with the secretary. In that letter, President Trump congratulated President Zelensky on his election and invited him to a meeting in the Oval Office. I also brought with me a framed copy of the Secretary's declaration that the United States would never recognize the illegal Russian annexation of Crimea. But once I arrived in Kyiv, I discovered a weird combination of encouraging, confusing, and ultimately alarming circumstances. First, the encouraging. President Zelensky was taking over Ukraine in a hurry. He had appointed reformist ministers and supported long-stalled anti-corruption legislation. He took quick executive action, including opening Ukraine's High Anti-Corruption Court, which was established under the previous presidential administration, but never allowed to operate.
Imagine that.
Yeah. He called snap parliamentary elections. His party was so new it had no representation in the Rada, and later won an overwhelming mandate controlling 60% of the seats. With his new parliamentary majority, he changed the Ukrainian constitution to remove the absolute immunity from Rada deputies, which had been the source of raw corruption for 2 decades. So he's handling corruption. This is when he gets elected. And yet, I found a confusing and unusual arrangement for making U.S. policy towards Ukraine. There appeared to be 2 channels of U.S. policymaking and implementation, one regular and one highly irregular. As the chief of mission, I had authority. Oh, wow, chief of mission and charge d'affaires. This guy's important. I had authority over the regular formal diplomatic processes, including the bulk of the U.S. effort to support Ukraine against the Russian invasion and help it defeat corruption. This regular channel of U.S. policymaking has consistently had strong bipartisan support in both Congress and the administration since Ukraine's independence from Russia in 1991. At the same time, however, excuse me, there was an irregular, informal channel of U.S. policymaking with respect to Ukraine, one which included then Special Envoy Kurt Volker, Ambassador Sondland, Secretary of Energy Rick Perry, and as I subsequently learned, Mr. Giuliani. I was clearly in the regular channel, but I was also in the irregular one due to the extent that Ambassadors Volker and Sondland included me in certain conversations. Although this irregular channel was well connected in Washington, it operated mostly outside of official State Department channels. This irregular channel began when Ambassador Volker, Ambassador Sondland, Secretary Perry, and Senator Ron Johnson briefed President Trump on May 23rd upon their return from President Zelensky's inauguration. The delegation returned to Washington enthusiastic about the new Ukrainian president and urged President Trump to meet with him early on to cement the U.S.-Ukraine relationship. But from what I understood, President Trump did not share their enthusiasm for meeting Mr. Zelensky. In late June, one of the goals of both channels was to facilitate a visit by President Zelensky to the White House for a meeting with President Trump, which President Trump had promised in his congratulatory letter of May 29th. Ukrainians were clearly eager for the meeting to happen. During a conference call with Ambassador Volker, Acting Secretary of State and European Eurasian Affairs Phil Reeker, Secretary Perry, Ambassador Sondland, Counselor of the U.S. Department of State Ulrich Breckbull, on June 18th, it was clear that the meeting between the two presidents was an agreed-upon goal. They were already setting this. But during my subsequent communication with Ambassadors Volker and Sondland, they relayed to me that the president wanted to hear from Zelensky before scheduling the meeting in the Oval Office. It was not clear to me what this meant. If you paid any attention, what it meant was that he wanted a deliverable. The president, via Sondland and these guys, and again, all right, we got to take a break. I'm going to let loose when we come back. I find this whole gathering dirt on the Bidens nonsense to be aggravating. This is not what the quid pro quo was for. The president, I repeat, did not ask for, as part of the quid pro quo to get the military aid, did not ask for, quote, dirt on the Bidens. I'll explain when we come back. Oh, God. Yes, thanks for the likes, guys. Looking good. I gotta try to do. Where's that live thinger? Yeah, his statement, it's impressive. Man. have to this thing is so long. There's it gets gnarly. Yeah. Did you miss anything? Hey, Carl. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Summer got me this. And it's not even a Halloween thing.
We have 2 callers, Hal.
Excellent.
And we had one guy, he called, but he hung up because you don't want to take his call because you're afraid to deal with someone who uses logic and facts, apparently.
Oh, is that why I hung up on him?
You didn't even take his call today, apparently.
I can't. I don't know what's wrong with me. I must be shaking in my boots.
How dare you, Hal?
I know. How can I?
That's my biggest problem with Hal.
Yeah. Well, you genuinely scare me sometimes. Honestly.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Right when I think it's I trust you. It's fine. And then, yeah. Whew, man. Why would you call in just to tell the screener that?
I remember, I'm like, you want to go on hold? He's like, you can put me on hold, but he's not going to take my call because he's afraid to deal with someone who uses logic and facts. All of the hosts here are. He's like, what does a comedian know about politics anyway? And I wanted to ask him, like, what's your job? What do you know about politics?
Right. That's always the amazing part or whatever. Meanwhile, I think Christy Swanson is on Fox this morning. And I was in Dude, Where's My Car with Christy Swanson. Christy Swanson was the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the movie. She's very conservative. That's her thing. I don't agree with her on anything politically. I don't hate on her, though. But, she's fine. She's fine. But, how dare I? By the way, Dennis Miller, honestly, what? Shut up and sing. Unless you're, of course, whatever Brooks and Dunn or whoever they are, they like to they like to go bear hunting. Sure, the bear is in a cage and it's chained to the ground, and they get to stand 50 feet away from it when they shoot it. But still, they're real artists, man. No logic and no facts. What are you, becoming a Republican? I know. I'm falling into that trap.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's
60
just
seconds, guys.
It's how they get you. It's because I saw Miller on an ad for his show. Oh, I see. I see. Well, I forgive you. Sort of. Like and subscribe, everybody. Do me a favor. These guys, you can't even let these... You don't even know what facts are. This guy's a never Trumper. How do you know? Well, you've seen the evidence. Anybody who sees the evidence against Trump becomes a never Trumper. Duh. Honestly. It's like waking up in Gacy's crawl space. What, are you going to be fair to him afterwards? You can give him a hug? So unfair to the president. And he described Taylor as a never Trumper, even though he appointed him.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out on me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at HalSparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid slut you're troweling out.
Face food, pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
It's time for you guys to give up.
Welcome back to the show. We are streaming live at infotainmentwars.com, and of course, you can listen to the show afterwards. The special little points, the truncated pod-ready version at the as the Hal Sparks Radio Podcast, Mega Worldwide on the Sexy Liberal Podcasting Network. That's right. All the more reason to bring the families back together. Stephanie Miller and I will meet, and I will make her an offer she cannot refuse, mainly because of the wine. So, and continuing, by the way, and we'll take some calls too. Continuing with Bill Taylor's opening statement. This, like I said, it's worth a read. It reads like a novel, because it is just so full of shocking facts. And at one point, he goes to Pompeo. Pompeo's, he goes to Bolton, says, "What the hell's going on?" Bolton says, "Write a letter to Pompeo. He's your boss. Tell him what's up. Put it in the official record." Because that's a recurring theme in this stuff too. Oh, that was good. That goes back to one of the lies, the Republican lies about this. He met the whistleblower, met with Shifty Shift before he, they were coordinating. The whistleblower went to somebody on the intelligence committee, because he's in the intelligence community, and said, "Dude, I just saw something and heard some stuff that's totally illegal that the president is doing. What do we do? Do you guys do I go straight to you guys?" And they go, "No. You go back to the intelligence community and you run this through your normal whistleblower chain of command. You do it by the numbers." It is absurd that anyway. So Pompeo. He goes, I sent a first-person cable to Secretary Pompeo directly, which I just love the idea. Like, Director Pompeo, stop. I am in Kyiv right now, and the president is a moron. Stop. Whatever you are doing right now, stop. I wrote and transmitted such a cable on August 29th describing the, quote, folly I saw in withholding military aid to Ukraine at a time when hostilities were still active in the East and when Russia was watching closely to gauge the level of American support for the Ukrainian government. Now, keep in mind, what was the one thing that Manafort changed in the RNC platform on behalf of Donald Trump? What was the one thing? Softening military support for Ukraine. Guys, I don't want to get too far into a hair on fire fear point, but if this is the late 20s, early 30s, Ukraine is Poland, Russia is Germany, and the Turkey is serving as the sort of Italian squeeze point for the rest of Europe. By releasing ISIS fighters that will storm into Turkey and softening NATO's relationship with Turkey over time, that creates a position, if anybody's ever played Risk, that traps Europe between two forces. And if you only think 2 weeks down the road in your own life, maybe this, seems like an impossibility, like all great geopolitical moves. But these people are thinking 5, 10, 15 years ahead. There's a strategy here. And as Hal Vickery, I completely agree in our chat room, Trump is currently Cheeto Chamberlain. Hashtag Cheeto Chamberlain. He is allowing this to happen and making it easier. Russia is trying to claim Ukraine and squeeze our European allies using Turkey and Syria as southern points as part of basically a crossfire. So I told the secretary I could not and would not eat it in a tree. I would not eat it with a bee. All right. I told the secretary I could not and would not defend such a policy. Although I received no specific response, I heard that soon thereafter, the secretary carried the cable with him to a meeting at the White House focused on security assistance for Ukraine. The same day that I sent my cable to the secretary, August 29th, Mr. Yermak contacted me and was very concerned, asking about the withheld security assistance. The hold that the White House had placed on the assistance had just been made public that day in a Politico story. So that goes to, if you saw did you see the text messages back and forth between the two of them? Okay, between Sondland. This is, people have put this out. as evidence of the quid pro quo and all that kind of stuff. And at the tail end of these things, of what was released, Trump basically talked to Sondland, said, "Hey, make sure you put in there's no quid pro quo to cover our butts." And so the last one says, "By the way, I want to make completely sure that you know that there's no quid pro quo between the president and this." And P.S. Stop texting me, and we'll do this all verbally from now on.
Oh,
yeah. It's like that one thing. Like, wait a minute, this is nuts. So we're withholding aid to an ally to help a political campaign? Dude, call me. Like, that was pretty much how the texts were going. Well, anybody who says there's no quid pro quo, he just said so in the entire thing, didn't bother to read any of the other texts, because they specifically ask for a quid pro quo in it. They're asking for what's called a deliverable. And they will not release the aid and the weapons, or the ability to buy the weapons, until that deliverable is given. Now, was the deliverable an investigation into the Bidens and corruption by the Bidens, as everyone says? No. At no point do they ask them to open an investigation in this stuff. They may have, Sondland may have said it, but at no point does the president ask for them to open it. The deliverable, what they asked for, was not an investigation into corruption by the Bidens. I cannot state that soundly enough. I do not get it, why it keeps getting repeated in the news.
The deliverable.
The deliverable that they asked for is not an investigation into corruption by the Bidens. It is not even an investigation into the corruption around CrowdStrike, which was his first concern. He first asked about CrowdStrike. His first concern was getting Russia off the hook. His second was allegedly going after the Biden dirt. He didn't ask for dirt on Biden. He asked for them to make a public speech saying that they were looking for dirt on Biden. That's not the same thing. Saying that you believe there's a reason for that you look into these folks creates the illusion that there's actually evidence, which there is not. What they wanted was
They don't have the papers?
Huh? They don't have the papers. What the papers they do have show payments by Ukrainian sock puppets of Russia to Manafort during the time of the previous administration that was killing their own citizens and ceding ground. So the reality here is that and then apparently we have a bot. I'm sorry, I'll fix that for you guys or something in the chat room. The reality for this is that they were not asking for evidence. They were not asking for an investigation. They were not asking for them to, quote, look into corruption at all. What they were asking for was a speech saying they were doing that. All they had to do was give a speech saying they were doing that, and that would give them a White House visit, the funds would be released, and they would have the ability to buy the missiles, the anti-tank weapons. They were not asking for an actual investigation into corruption. They were asking for a publicity stunt. The deliverable was a publicity stunt. End of conversation. It's nonsense. And it keeps getting repeated. I see it on all the news stories as if that's the case. And they strictly are not. So I will continue to chew on that every time that garbage comes up. But the deliverable was negotiated in these text messages that he references in his statement, back and forth between Andre Yermak, Kurt Volker, Sondland, and Bill Taylor. Taylor is increasingly uncomfortable with it. Sondland is way more comfortable than he seems to be now. And what they were ultimately asking for was for him to draft a speech, and they were going to help him with the speech points. They wanted this deliverable to hit something. Once we have a date, we'll call for a press briefing announcing the upcoming visit and outlining vision for the reboot of U.S.-Ukrainian relationships, including, among other things, Ukraine relations, including, among other things, Burisma and election meddling and investigation. That's what they want said in the press. I agree with your approach. Let's iron out statement and use that to get the date. Then Prez Z can go forward with it. They are talking about the statement. They are talking about preparing a speech for the new president of Ukraine. This has nothing to do with dirt on Joe Biden or an investigation of CrowdStrike, which is a California-based company, publicly owned. This is about getting him to give Donald Trump the same gift that Comey gave him in the 2016 election by saying, we're looking into Hillary Clinton again. Mm-hmm. Never turned out to be anything. And as a matter of fact, quietly a week ago, the Hillary email scandal deflated like a flan in a cupboard, as Eddie Izzard would say. Fell apart. Garbage, nothing there. Never had anything. Beat it to death, just like Benghazi, which on both of those, by the way, they had secret closed-door skiff meetings and depositions and witnesses come in. On both of those cases. But what ultimately did more damage to the Clinton campaign was the fact that Comey went out and made a speech, we need to reopen this investigation. I'm not saying there's something there, but we're investigating her again. They went back for seconds. That's what this is. So, the deliverable was a speech, not dirt. And then all of a sudden, while they're doing this stuff, they get this on the 28th, which is what he just referenced. Zelensky's aide, Andriy Yermak, texted Ambassador Volker a news story titled, Trump holds up Ukraine military aid meant to confront Russia. The whole scheme fell apart. It got out. It was in the news. And he immediately said, hi, Andrei. He goes, need to talk to you. And then he sends the link, and Kurt Volker says, hi, Andrei. Absolutely. When's good for you? And then immediately the next stuff, Bill Taylor, trip canceled. Volker, hope V. POTUS keeps the Balat and tees up White House visit. Hope Gordon and Perry still going. Like they pull Trump everything. So, anyways, we got to take a break. We'll be back. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. What was this nonsense about this ridiculous little company botting their way through? Done. What's happening with YouTube? Excuse me. Lisa, I agree that was total Trump propaganda, but you know how I feel about debate questions. The easiest questions for Dems to handle should be the right-wing stuff. So, yeah. There you go. If you can't handle those, then I don't know I can't help you.
Back in 60, guys.
Thank you. That's right. Don't forget to check vote.org. Make sure you're registered to vote, that all your information is correct, up to date, all that stuff. We're going to do that. Starting in November, we're going to do a real push for everybody to GOTV in terms of helping people, making sure that if somebody needs a ride to the polls, people carpool together, that if you can vote early, you can, that you do it. And we'll talk about the challenges people have with, making sure their vote counts. But that's, no matter what your place on the spectrum as far as voters go, your ability and right to vote is paramount. Literally.
This is Ron Calgo.
And this is Robbie Earhart.
And you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
That's right. Let's get some of these calls. We got some calls.
Let's do it.
Let's get some calls. Who do we have?
Preferably ones
We
that
have
don't
David
like
out in
logic.
San Francisco.
Cool. Hey, David.
No right to pretend that we, the people, you see, Trump works for us. We, the people, whether or not he was elected or not, he is our employee.
Right.
Now, a rich boy like Trump has never been an employee for anybody. He doesn't know what it's like to be an employee. He pretends to be a king, and that he doesn't have a responsibility to us to explain his actions.
Right.
Now, you were pretending that Carter Page, or in the case of Flynn, weren't in collusion with Russia long before Trump even, election day even happened. So there were security inquiries into what these guys were doing over there. And so those security inquiries were already determining that they were up to some shady business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the curious thing is this kind of mixture of people who joined the Trump team who were already on the Russian team, as if they were just yeah. Sorry, say again. He's a little watery. Is that just me, or is he?
No, that's what I heard.
Yeah. It's a little hard to hear you. It just sounds like you're underwater a little bit. Apologies on that. Call back anytime. Let's grab another caller. But yeah, it gets to the point where you it can't be that much of an accident, for crying out loud, But who else do we have, Devin?
Next, we have Patrick out in San Antonio.
Cool. Hey, Patrick. Welcome.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Good. Go ahead.
Patrick.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking my call. I found it interesting you were bringing up CrowdStrike. Not many people have been speaking about CrowdStrike in depth. What is interesting is 3 government agencies, the NSA, the FBI, all had handpicked analysts who were picked by Brennan to inspect a report that was completed by CrowdStrike.
Mm-hmm.
It has been said that CrowdStrike is the only entity to have ever inspected the DNC servers, and due to legal documents, we now know that CrowdStrike only provided a draft to these government agencies to review.
They gave their draft. No. The FBI and the intelligence organizations that looked into it got a copy of CrowdStrike's report on it because they were the private firm that the DNC had hired as a security firm to protect their stuff. They weren't the only ones who looked at it, and the FBI got a copy, disk images of the physical servers themselves. There's nothing there in hiding in the physical.
Are you telling me?
Yes.
Are you telling me that you're okay with a private political party making claims that Russia was hacked, or Russia hacked us, and yet?
No. They're not. Their servers are not the only evidence that they were hacked. That's just one element.
There is no evidence that the DNC was hacked. According to William Binney, the rate at which these emails were downloaded. Now, William
you're doing
Binney
this is the Seth Rich idea that they were downloaded internally, physically from inside. Yeah.
We don't know who they came from. We don't know where they come from, but we do know that
right. Well, according to
could have been done over the internet.
Oh, yes, they could And they could have been done in close proximity. At that point, we had somewhere in the order of 25 to 60 spies in the country that were working specifically for Russia.
The bot in the forum is saying the exact same things that this caller is saying.
Yeah, I know. Of course they are. The point being is that this was not the CrowdStrike information, the report that they filed as a private company hired by the DNC to figure out their security, as many companies have and as many private entities have, interacted with the FBI and the CIA. It's not like it didn't match up. The Russians absolutely hacked us, hacked the DNC. They hacked the RNC as well. The RNC even admitted to it. Where's the mystery in this?
To support your claim. That's a conspiracy theory that you're spreading.
No, that's what you're spreading. You are the believer in the conspiracy theory.
Mueller investigation. There's nobody that's ever been indicted for anything related to Russia conspiracy or anything related.
Yes, they have.
To the Trump campaign. Who has?
Well, okay. So, all right. So, first of all, let's start with the Russian hackers, because that's where we were primarily with. Like, we have somewhere in the order of 12 to 15 IRA members, the Internet Research Agency members, and other Russians who were actively hacking the United States electoral grid, private organizations, not just the DNC, also the RNC. They got but secondarily. Go ahead. Say what?
Trolls that had $200,000 that they were spending to spread information about the biggest Black Lives Matter page was from these particular Russian trolls. I mean,
they had a lot of money to spend.
Money was actually spent. Most of the money was actually spent after the 2016 election, not before. So we're not talking about a huge.
That's not true. It was discovered after. They weren't even looking into it the way they should have. They took it for granted. They did not understand the actual threat at the time. I don't know. Look, if you're for Russia meddling in our elections, just say so. But secondarily, of
I'm having another Cold War on false allegations.
We're not right now. We just handed northern Syria to Russia. We let them flank a NATO ally.
If you want to bomb a nation, then go to.
We don't have to bomb a nation, but we don't have to take crap from them. Why is that the option? Why is our only, we have to let Russia meddle in our elections or they'll nuke us? Is that what you're saying? That's the only thing you got left? And secondly, there were dozens of people. Flynn hasn't even been sentenced yet. Gates hasn't been sentenced yet.
Alone in 2016, causing millions to seek refuge. You can thank Obama and Hillary Clinton for Syria. Don't blame Trump on this.
What are you talking about? They didn't actually gut the Kurds pull the rug out from under them just weeks ago.
How many bombs did Obama drop on Syria in 2016? Over 16,000?
We were fighting ISIS with the Kurds.
We were funding ISIS to overthrow Assad.
Right. Okay. So Obama was trying to undermine the United States on behalf of a Kenyan Illuminati, pentavolate. And Trump rode in on a golden horse.
Bombing sovereign nations without a declaration of war? Is the left the new war party? Is the left a party now of the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA? Is that what you guys are advocating for?
Clearly. That's the exact same thing as the Iraq and the Afghanistan wars. Sure. Look, the point is, you were asking me the Trump organization and the Trump the Trump campaign has had dozens of people indicted for working as foreign agents for both Russia, Turkey, and the Saudis. And in the case of Mike Flynn and Gates, people who work directly with the president and national security and on his campaign, they have yet to be sentenced yet because they are cooperating, throwing other people under the bus for doing exactly what they were doing. This idea that he's some sort of gangster president, that he has no control over any of these guys, he can just sit back. I never told him to actually do that. They just were trying to help me out, is absurd.
You've been watching what's been coming out about the Flynn investigation. He fired his whole.
He thinks he's going to get pardoned.
Hired new people, and now they're finding out that a lot of this was entrapment. That a lot of these documents
entrapment, right? Oh, now the Republicans are the party of they had no right to find the body in my trunk. I get it. You have inverted the entirety of national security. The Republicans are no longer the party of national security. They're certainly no longer the party of law and order. They couldn't care less about the actual equal application of the law, especially when it comes to that. It's okay if you're a Republican. I get it. There have been dozens of indictments, and they all deserved it. The Mueller report itself said that the president himself obstructed justice on multiple fronts. 8 counts.
How? You're filibustering. Give me one indictment that was related to the Trump campaign that didn't happen before the Trump campaign that wasn't a process crime.
That wasn't a process crime? Flynn acting as a foreign agent for the Russians and the Turks.
Who was?
Flynn. Gates actively doing so. Gates hasn't been sentenced yet because his were directly during the campaign period.
Flynn's only crime was lying to the FBI. There was no other crime that he committed.
Why would you lie if you weren't covering another crime?
We're now.
Why would you lie?
He lied about wasn't a crime. Just like Papadopoulos.
Why would he lie about it if it wasn't a crime?
Why was Papadopoulos?
The reason he lied about it was because he was acting as a foreign agent, and he was acting in the best interests of 2 other countries and manipulating American foreign policy to fit his and Trump's agenda. This was not a normal application of National Security Agency behavior. It just wasn't. We're over break. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you at least trying to call in. It matters that you can actually have this conversation, but you are backing the wrong pony. You are actively working against our democracy. You are a tool. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Good luck. We'll be back after this.
He said crowd strike 3 times.
Yes.
My name is David Hochberg. Today, meet Jim, 74,
Hey,
bus
Jim.
driver who called
I'm hearing commercials.
loving lending refinance bad.
Sorry with that.
Yep. Hey, what's happening, TLK Knitting? Good to see you. Uptime. Yeah. Gish is galloping, indeed.
This is all bullshit. Anyways, I mean, Flynn was innocent the entire time. Only thing he did was lie under oath to investigators. I mean, honestly, that's like better than innocent.
You done, son? Hey, Princess Angel Sky. Hope you're feeling good. Yeah, darn tootin' nuts. I said that. I don't think he even recognized. He did say Black Lives Matter. He was talking about the fake Black Lives Matter groups that Russia was putting on Facebook and the like, and Instagram. It's amazing when somebody has a hard time believing in a psyop when they are the victim of it. I mean, I guess it works technically.
Yeah.
Because that's clearly what's up. I love it.
What was the little process?
And then, okay, well then tell me why Bill Clinton needed to be impeached. I'm sure you would have gone, that was BS. We shouldn't have done that.
Back in 60.
Cool.
Look, all Al Capone was ever guilty of was tax fraud. I mean, if he was guilty of anything else, they would have gotten him on something else. You can't charge a guy with syphilis.
Can't charge a guy with syphilis.
Mr. Capone, we find you guilty of
stage syphilis. Do you have anything to say? Oh, boy, get him out of here. He smells funny.
He's gross.
Yeah.
I'm Dick Kay from Back on the Beat, and here is the mega worldwide radio program with Hal Sparks.
I love how all these guys can obstruct justice, and then they're found guilty of obstructing justice by lying to investigators and lying to officials and lying to grand jury or lying to Congress. And that all they're guilty of are process crimes. So in this estimation, to analogize for our dear friend who just called in, I murder someone. They can't find the body, but I clearly hid it. The cops found it later. I lied about where it was, but because there are no fingerprints on it, because I threw it in a furnace at work, all they can get me on technically is lying about moving a body. Right? That's the thing. That means I'm innocent of murder in this guy's eyes, is what he's saying. It's just a process. Hey, all I did was break a process rule. I ran from the cops. They were in the process of shooting at me. I was in the process of shooting back. At one point in the process, I jumped a fence. I was tackled. And then at that process, I was cuffed, and then I lied 15 times on the way to the station, and I spat on a guy. But that's just process. There have been 34 people and 3 Russian businesses indicted by the Mueller investigation, starting with Paul Manafort. He was busted for his lobbying for the Ukrainian sock puppets, which is Russia. The money came through there. They busted him for the money laundering because the Russians are smart enough not to have left a mechanical or paper trail with him going through there. So he was paid in cash while he was over there, and they busted him for trying to sneak the money back across. But he was acting as a foreign agent, and he was smuggling this cash in and not paying taxes on it. So that's the process. Rick Gates is actually... he's being charged for being an unregistered foreign agent, which is way more than process. That is the manipulation of our electoral systems by a foreign government and the participation by a citizen of this country in helping that happen. Process. He pled guilty to conspiracy against the United States and lying to federal prosecutors. Now, I don't know if I don't know if this guy would consider conspiracy against the United States as a crime of process, but sure. But he pled to those to avoid a bunch of financial crime things as well, bank fraud and all that, hiding money he was getting from a foreign country. Konstantin Kilimnik, here's Mike Flynn. Pled guilty, by the way, acknowledging false statements and admissions in FBI interviews, and started cooperating, essentially. Admitted to lying about asking the Russian ambassador to refrain from responding to the Obama administration on sanctions. By the way, ultimately those sanctions were raised by Congress and the Senate, and Trump, essentially, because he is a puppet of Vladimir Putin, has fought the sanctions all the way.
Yep.
And if sanctions are, if we're not allowed to put sanctions on countries that are attacking us or attacking our elections or doing horrible things in the world, then why is it okay for Trump to put sanctions on Iran or on North Korea or on any other country that he sees fit? If that's just going to provoke a war, why are we bowing our head to Russia? How is that? I mean, first of all, their nuclear systems are rickety and underwhelming. They have spent majority of their time in power, as far as Putin, sucking money out of that country. They have a smaller economy than Texas and a bigger landmass than the U.S. and Canada combined. The country's a failure. And yet these guys want us to take a knee in front of these guys. I don't get it. Michael Cohen, obviously, he'll say, well, that was in Russia. Right. Yeah, I'm sure you'll defend Bill Clinton to the death because Monica Lewinsky never worked for the Whitewater real estate firm. Rick Gates also was part of the influence operation in 2014. George Papadopoulos, and of course, Alex Vanderswan was sentenced in his court. He had pleaded guilty to lying to federal agents about his contacts with the Trump campaign chair, Rick Gates, in September 2016. They were helping launder money for the Russians. Richard Pinedo was one of the lesser-known guys in it. But the California man played an instrumental role in a Russian troll factory's online influence campaign during the 2016 by unwittingly selling bank accounts to Russians. In February 2018, he pleaded guilty to one count of identity fraud, and in October that year was sentenced to serve 6 months in prison, following 6 months of home confinement and 1,000 hours of community service. So he was specifically working with a Russian troll factory, helping them launder money to pay for psyops and material hacking physically in the United States. And this, by the way, does not count all the obstruction of justice aspects, because the obstruction of justice is the hiding of the crimes. Mm-hmm. Like the idea that, like, do these guys watch like the Dateline NBC murder mysteries and go, why are they even bothering that guy? Lots of people float in rivers. You know, like, whose side are they on? That's the amazing part.
Over and over.
Yeah, and they will just defend Trump to no end. I don't know if we have any other callers, just to be aware. I'm just checking, because we had the panicked right winger. At least that guy, I give him credit for actually calling in. And Alex Jones is off the air these days, so it's, he needs all the help he can get getting these ideas out there. So I appreciate the guy calling in and fomenting them. But we had an earlier caller who apparently was so convinced I wouldn't take his call that he hung up, because I was unfair to not take his call. So that's why he hung up before I could take his call. Real quick before we go to break, the Taylor statement that he made, invariably, they had, during this point, their defense has been, well, the money got released. The money got released. They got it. Okay, first of all, Trump never had the right to hold it back. It was approved by Congress. It had already been signed off on as part of, I think, the Defense Appropriations Bill. It had already been in there. It was part of a bill he had already signed. Legally, the money was out the door. The quid pro quo that, Mick Mulvaney stepped in saying, we do this all the time between countries. That part that was true about that had already been satisfied. Our country had recognized that an ally was fighting a foe that had attacked our election and was physically attacked them. We had already decided that they were worthy of getting these funds and that we would help them, and that it was in our national interest for them to get those funds. That quid pro quo had already been answered. What Trump did was insert his own personal quid pro quo in there. What he had asked for was not, I want corruption solved before I give money to this country. That was the cover he used when he saw what Biden and the EU and the IMF and multiple other European bodies and governments had said about Ukraine before the new president was in there, back in the day when Manafort was working with them. That's when Biden said, we're not giving these funds unless you clean up the corruption over there. We get rid of these guys when Taylor references exactly getting rid of these 6 guys in here that were stopping prosecution against Russians who were undermining the governments in these outlying areas so that they could move in. He talks about it directly. That's what they've been pushing against. And so Trump goes, I'll use that as cover. That happened? Okay, let's just say that. And I don't think it was his idea. I think Stephen Miller or somebody like that said, try this as an argument. It's not his idea.
He says
because he doesn't understand it. I mean, it's just like, it's like watching him talk about Schiff's statement. Like at a certain point, you're like, do you even contemplate what being paraphrased means? And the fact that your actual statement got put into the record? Nobody's confused here but you. Which means you are either incredibly stupid or you think this is amazing. Look how clever I am. So in this, in this period, there's they're working on this thing. They're working on this whole statement. We'll get them to say this. We'll get them to release this speech. He'll come out, and if he gives the speech, then he can meet with the president. Then he can get the funds. And before they can they can batten down all the hatches, cross their T's and dot their I's and make this happen. Force the new president of Ukraine to make this speech. Before they can do it, the Politico story comes out and throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, everybody stops talking on text, starts talking on WhatsApp, starts calling each other verbally because they don't want records of their conversations anymore. Because obviously it's getting out. People are sniffing around. It's a joke. And the fact that that Republicans will back this guy and back Giuliani and back Trump in this nonsense, it's grotesque. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how you that deluded. Literally in the last 2 weeks, the Hillary Clinton email thing collapsed entirely in your lap. Are we going to fall back now to well, Obama was still born out of the country? Like, is that where we're going now?
Yeah.
What's left? Because you now have Republicans storming secure facilities with insecure phones, filming stuff. You have the president's own words. He's like, why don't you hear about the whistleblower? Why don't we hear about the whistleblower anymore? We don't need the whistleblower. You're the whistleblower. He is. You don't need the whistleblower statement anymore. It is completely confirmed by the statement the president put out. And certainly from these text messages. We literally don't need the whistleblower anymore. It's all confirmed. Whistleblower, good on you. Take a break. Hit the showers. You're fine. Ridiculous. We'll be back. It's the House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk, 773-763-9278. And thanks to all our troll watchers in the chat room. Appreciate you. Sorry. Yeah, the troll machine is in high alert. But it's largely because we are, thank you very much, the fastest growing progressive show on the air right now. That's right. We were always doing well. There used to be a thing where like Schaumburg at one point was the fastest growing city in America because there were 15 people in it and 15 more people moved in and it was 100% growth. Like it's amazing when the numbers are small how great growth looks, right? But in the now it's pretty impressive. Like we're doing very well, you guys, just in the analytics world, and it has a lot to do with our supporters, and it has a ton to do with our Patreon folks. By the way, post show today for an hour after the show. If you want to hang out, that'd be terrific. Just on YouTube though. If you're watching on Periscope or you're watching on Facebook, anything, hop over there. Hop on over. And then of course I just posted on the Patreon episode 3 of the Wonky Donk, the Hal and Jackie Schechner podcast, the new one. And that's before the audio comes out. On any of that stuff, you guys get first take on it. So I just posted it last night.
Hal.
Thank you.
And phone lines are full, so we got a bunch of callers.
Of course, right at the tail end. This is when the bogeys show up. You're not even gonna let me talk. I got 8 minutes left in the show. Yeah, and yeah. So there you go.
The bogeys.
Yeah, it's like booger, but bogeys at 8 o'clock, right? I'll try and get a couple of them. Oh, let's see. One, two. What's up, Corey? How you doing? Is the audio out first and second? I don't know yet, Sukal Suzuki. That part's out of my hands.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. It's now time for the happy ending. Yay!
Yay! Happy ending is, of course, as we get near the end of the show, tons of calls.
Yep.
Tons of calls. So we won't be able to fit everybody in, but we'll get a couple of them. So who do we have first, Devin?
First we have Paul out in Seattle.
Excellent.
Hey, Seattle.
Yeah. Hey, Paul in Seattle. Right on.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you gonna ready to play ball?
Yeah. I insist.
By the way, Hal, the guy from Texas, he's been here all week. You know what that? You know, that's what I mean. Trying his stuff out on every show.
Oh, I see. This is his Gish Gallop for the week.
Yeah. Who's been a judge? So the part of his argument he left out in terms of the murder analogy is that since none of your friends, your crooked friends who are in jail, were involved in the murder, that's what gets you off.
Right. Yeah. Because they're so scared of the Don, killing them or his friends that they'd rather go to jail like that. I mean, how simple do you have to be to not understand RICO? But go ahead.
Right, and what Flynn?
Yeah.
he was only in jail for lying. I mean, I guess you try to reason. Why would you lie if you had? And it's not what's the lying about. And remember, like you said, he was cooperating, so he
pled down. There were worse charges against him. He pled out of them in exchange to help bust people higher up the chain. That happens all the time. We do that with hitmen, murderers, guys who've sawed people up in bathtubs. They plead down to like manslaughter charges for that kind of stuff, so you can get the guy that paid him to do it. Why is this a mystery to these idiots?
Well, it's not. And the thing is that okay, so and Rachel got to it last night. Okay, the Mueller report.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Flynn and the Manafort were associated with both Turkey and Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when I'm reading Volume 1 of the Mueller report, it gets to a point. Most people haven't read it.
Yeah.
It's so heavily redacted that it's almost incoherent.
Right.
And it's, this is the next 6 paragraphs are redacted for investigation purposes. So it's supposedly these things are under investigation, but I started to wonder, are they really?
Right.
Or is this bar redacting them and sweeping it under the rug?
Yeah.
And last night I said, so maybe these things are associated with these, we didn't think about it when I first started reading it, but Rachel said, page 143. And I went, yep. Now, see, I have to read on audio, so that's not so easy for me to find.
Right.
So I remember going, yeah, I remember what she was talking about. There are things in the Mueller report. These things have been discovered, but they're redacted and being covered up. Buddy in Texas, this guy is too much. I mean, really.
Yeah.
It really is this. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, first of all, you have to understand, anywhere stuff is blacked out, that just proves Trump's innocence. Anytime you see big blocks of text blacked out in an indictment of you and your associates, that means you're so innocent, people couldn't even take the blinding light of your innocence. But secondly, they break it down by grand jury information, which is all coming to the House now. That's the judge ordered that this week. So anytime you see a redacted thing in the report, and there's tons of it that says grand jury, grand jury, grand jury. It's questions by the grand jury, elements that they presented to them that they didn't want to put into the actual report. There's tons of that stuff. Investigative techniques we'll never see. There's some personal privacy stuff, which is also debatable. But in terms of, let's see, the 140, beg your pardon, 143, that's a huge redacted page. That's, I mean, this is this deals with Konstantin Kalimnik. And let's see, Kalimnik wrote, quote, all that is required to start the process is a very minor wink or slight push from DT, Donald Trump, an apparent reference to President-elect Donald Trump, and a decision to authorize you to be a special representative and manage the process, Kalimnik assured Manafort. With that authority, he could, quote, start the process within 10 days, visit Russia. Yanukovych guarantees your reception at the very top level, and Donald Trump could have peace in Ukraine basically within a few months after inauguration. By the way, handing Ukraine over to Russia. As noted above, grand jury block. And statements in the office, Manafort sought to qualify his engagement and support for the plan, grand jury block. And then February 26th, Manafort met with Kalimnik in Madrid, where Kalimnik had flown from Moscow. In his first two interviews with the office, Manafort denied meeting with Kalimnik, lied about it on his Madrid trip. So he's really just, Paul, he's just lying about a meeting, okay? It's just he's busted for lying. It's not what happened in the meeting that matters. It's how small it is a thing to lie to federal investigators twice about the same meeting.
Can I give you my take on
Yes.
why the call was perfect?
Yes, right.
Yeah, here's how I get perfect is Trump was on the phone and Barr and Pompeo were standing there like a couple of teenagers listening to their buddy make a prank phone call.
Right, and they gave him the okay sign.
Well, they get their statue freeze, their gaze is kind of up and to the left, their bated breath. They got that excellent isometric smile on their face. And when Trump hung up, Barr said, perfect. And then Pompeo said, yeah, excellent, perfect.
Yeah.
That's how it got in there.
Sweet. Did I say it exactly where legally I'm in the clear, but I said everything, all the scary words? Now go send Barr and go send Rudy to tell him the real S. Go. They'll say the real scary stuff, and I'll say the winky stuff that makes me sound like I'm in the clear. That's exactly what he's talking about. Congratulations, Paul. You're so interesting that you became our one caller of the many that were stuck on there. I appreciate it. All the other callers, call earlier next time, guys. I love you, especially the trolls. If you want to talk about this stuff, I'm glad to bat you down. You're an embarrassment to the country. You should be ashamed of yourself. You throw America under the bus to support this second generation rich kid with a history of business failure, who was such a failure at the end of his career, which is what he was coming up to and what will continue after he's gone, that the only place he could get money was from Deutsche Bank, which was all fed through by Russia. And Deutsche Bank's machine that, their software that showed them where sketchy money came from was magically on the fritz in the 10 years that he was getting money from Russia through there. And they were fined for Russian money laundering. To the tune of $458 million for billions of dollars in laundering. So just stop pretending he's the God man on earth, will you? Stop pretending. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself. The man is a fool. Johnny, you're lovely. We'll see you soon. Hopefully next week, if not the week after. Love you, chat room. Yes. We will stick around in the post show or stick around on WCPT for Dick K to give you the local scoop. I'm here wedged in between Doris Davenport and him every weekend. It's a pleasure to be in such good company. We will see you guys next time. Hal Sparks Radio Podcast Mega Worldwide is on the Sexy Liberal Podcasting Network for your enjoyment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Become a Patreon. Come on. I mean, you get this show for free. I don't even take the ad rev. Come on, man. Just a little. Help out. Cup of coffee a month. Come on. I feel like NPR. See you next time. Love you, Johnny Million.
Love
see
you
you next
too,
week.
man.
Yeah, thanks, Devin. Appreciate it. Have an awesome day, my brother. I'll let you
the
go.
same.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, let me know. It's awesome. Okay, I'm hanging up on CPT, and then I'll see you later. Bye. See you later. Bye. Oh, there he goes. Just as soon as I said bye, was that Summer or a cat coming in? I can't tell. I think it's a cat. I think it was a cat. Pretty sure it was a cat. And then I'll close this. And then I'll close that. I think we're alone now. Da-da-da. So, lovely folks on Periscope. We'll see you guys later. Come on over to YouTube, infotainmentwars.com. That's the link that brings you there. Come on over. Come on. Give us a thumbs up on the show. Subscribe to the channel. We're so close. I got to plan some big party at 10K. It's got to be something big. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if it's whoever's the 10,000th, you're going to get a big round of applause. Just saying. Okay, see you later, Periscope. Facebook, your days are numbered. I love you guys, and I'm glad you can watch on there. And I'll probably end up having sort of a mechanical page up, but like my personal page, I'm stripping everything out of it down to the bare bones, and because Zuckerberg's not impressing me lately. Just saying, come on over to YouTube. It's the water's fine. Anyways, bye. And you know what, Twitch folks. There's only 3 of you in there. I think we can operate just fine. You guys are lovely. So I'm going to leave that one open this time because some of the... beg your pardon. Some of the extra stuff just that you guys can do because you're open is only available on Twitch. So I'm going to keep you in there. So there you go. Watching the Hallmark Channel. I wonder why they never asked me to do those things. It's because they look evil. See you, Raging Obsidian. Oh, hi, Murph. All right. He came in for a second. You make me a mod already? Okay. I think I know how to do that. There's like a command on Twitch, right? Did you see that Zuckerberg's fact-checking sources included Breitbart? Oh, yeah. Of course they do. Of course they do. And they're not fact-checking sources. They're trusted news sources, which is even more ridiculous. And yes, you are, Kathy. You are an old-timer on Patreon. I appreciate it. Merv Griffin is here? You're the elevator killer? Merv Griffin? Why? Well, I just always loved to kill. Just really enjoyed it, But then I got famous, and it was really difficult. I couldn't even lurk anymore. People would say, who's that lurking over there? Isn't that Merv Griffin? So I came to Europe. It's worked out very well for me. Till now. Anybody know where that's from? Can't wait. Come on. Thank you, Lisa, for having your 6-month anniversary as a Patreon. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. We're sending out annual cards as part of it, too. That's going to be coming up. I've only got a couple people who've been there for a year because it's been relatively new. But appreciate it. Thank you. What is wrong with Janet Boaz and the education, housing, food, liberal freebies, and military industrial complex? I think baseline housing, I think at some point we need to have a better system for creating that. It becomes the big fear, I think, for with both open free healthcare and open free housing, those kind of things, baselines, is that countries will start dumping people on our shores in an attempt to as a form of economic warfare, and that's always been the concern. So there have to be some standards set forth, and yada yada. I think the big concern for me is the recreation of healthy institutions for the mentally ill, and someplace for them to go, because we've talked about this before, but the categorization of homelessness into one big fell swoop is beg your pardon, is not helpful. Yes, Brad, well done. Right, man with two brains. Excellent. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate the subscription. Google, I don't know that they got rid of AdSense. I've never seen any benefit from it. Not really. The only thing that ever shows up in my Google AdSense and how it works out is super chats. So I apologize. I realized having the where are you? Live events. Take this go to live control room. I didn't see if there were any. I didn't see any super chats today, but that just won't. I don't want this page. I want the other one. You silly boy. Come on now. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there we are. Billy, thank you so much for the Giuliani Education Fund on what a butt dial is. Yes. Thank you, Hal Vickery, as well, for civics education for the Republicans and members of Congress. Super necessary, absolutely. James Etling, thank you, man. Tech support donation for the Planet Toth on the green screen. Oh, yeah, we should we put a... is that what you'd like back there? I think I can throw some stuff in there. Let's see if I can find that. I mean, we can do this now. I'm having problems with the software scaling visual stuff in there. So it just it takes the image and just stretches it out. It's very odd. So, video details. I don't want that. I don't want Facebook. I want you to go away. Okay. No, I don't want Planet Toyota. What are you talking about? How about this instead? I couldn't find a... Mm-hmm. Quit it. Trying to pull a picture out here. Take that there. Close this guy. Take this. Run this into here. There we go. Hoth will work. How about that? That's for James. And then Bill McNichols, thank you so much for the $1.99, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the thumbs ups and the likes and the whatnots. I'm very pink in this camera today. I don't know what that is. What's going on? What's happening? Is that just a fact of the green screen? Is it just pinkening me up? Is that a word? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I'm not sunburned, I don't think. They are even on your... what's... Oh, Julie, thank you so much. Wow. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Look at that. Where is this whole, like... Yeah, see, and I apologize, but guys, this is what it says when Julie super chatted. This is all it says in my little chat thing. So if I didn't see them during the show, I apologize. That's what it's doing. It used to say that there was a super chat there, and now it just has a name and doesn't show it. So I'm going to yell at the people at Ecamm or find another way to do this. But I thought that also I thought there's like things like these little reward things came up and told you stuff. Stream stats. I gotta find it. I'll figure it out. But thank you so much. Well, we missed you last week. And you got missed, and Cam came in for a visit in the post show, and I was trying not to cough up a storm. Yeah, I'm still healing. That's what Julie, that is exactly what's going on. You're definitely incognito. So let's do a little bit of a... Oh, okay, so where do we start? Green screen. Thanks patrons. Here, hold on. I'll turn it off real quick, and you guys can see. How do I do this? All right. Dink. There it is. Look at that. It's a little. We got a green screen. Thanks, guys. Super appreciate it. It will make more of an appearance, I think, on the Twitch stream too. But I'm still messing with it a little bit, and I'm gonna have to figure out because the scope isn't exactly right on pictures in the in when you put them into the fold into this software. So I might need to whatever. But anyways, hopefully what I'm hoping to do is eventually when I'm playing a piece of video, it'll show up there. So, but I was just getting to the point where I was eliminating the green haze. So it's, it was a little funky for a bit. So I had to mess around with the lighting quite a bit, which is probably why I'm a little pink. That might be it. Could be. I got a green screen and some gaming gear. Cheap. How is that a green screen fast fold pop-up? Brad, it totally is. It's the Elgato one. Hold on. I don't have to do this. Here. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys. I dig this. Hold on. Ta-da. It's awesome. So I can use it for pop-up stuff and carry it with me and all that kind of thing. So what frozen tundra is that? It's Hoth, clearly. Because James asked for a tech support donation for the planet Toth on the green screen, and I don't know if that was a reference to something else, but I looked up Planet Toth and forgive me, James, for not getting that. 8 seconds faster on Twitch than on YouTube to date. Really? Interesting. I have that fast pop-up green screen that's just a big circle. I have one of those as well that I use for filming, but it's really cumbersome in the office, and refolding it when I'm done, oh God. I got it wrong. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, Julie's in euros. They just now made that possible so that people in foreign countries can contribute. So if you're in the Philippines or you're someplace and you want to contribute to the show, that's one way to do it. So I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. Still lost. Tough. Golden. Yeah. How wasn't that snub to Mitch McConnell, Rep Cummings, Paul Bearer, delicious? McConnell's face. Oh my God, it was just glorious. I mean, it's a funeral, so I'm not 100% in on, treating, like those kind of shades in those kind of moments. But sometimes, man, in that moment, you can't really just let it slide. I think that's what the issue was. So. Reminds me of the screens they had in schools before they had the ones that mounted above the chat room. Well, they have one that comes down from the ceiling. I almost got that one, but I couldn't tell if the distance would be right behind my desk from in front of the light, behind the light, or in front of the vent. So I opted for the ground up one. So anyways, thank you patrons for that. That's going to help immensely. Obama's entire speech was shade. Yes. By the way, I might have a little, Carl, you might enjoy this. I might have a little side job with NASA. What started out as kind of an online joke, turned into maybe me, helping them out with some social media jokes and some, house-splaining some tech stuff. Because they were looking for, people who could, from a writing standpoint, simplify and make fun stuff, scientifically. So yeah, I'm still waiting for you to tell us you are on The Masked Singer. The funny thing is, I don't even know how to start that process because I would love to do that. I was thinking that the other day when I was walking around the house singing bluegrass. I was convinced that I was like, I could go on there and the number of voices I can sing in, I could be on there forever. Ooh, maybe Hal will be not eligible for a silver Snoopy. What's a silver Snoopy? Sounds awesome. Love that idea. Here you go. Hold on one second. I made this when I was in China. Isn't that pretty? It's part of a cast, and then but her head comes separate and her arm comes separate. You have to add them, and then you have to sculpt them. It's a little class I took. It turned out pretty good. I mean, it's not Rob Glenn good. Rob, you're a genius with it, but, not too bad. Let's just share some things with you that we got laying around the thing, the orifice. Sorry, this cough is it's just nagging. It's fine, but there you go. Hoth is the place in outer space. Well said, Amos. What's the prize for the 10,000th? I haven't thought it out yet. I mean, you'd think I would, but we have folks. There's 258 of you watching. If any of you haven't subscribed, just do it. Just click right there. If you're watching later, click right there. If you're listening on the, on the podcast, listen right there. Oh, Snoopy was the Apollo 10's lunar monitor, right? Can't get Hal to play. Keeps freezing. Maybe have to watch once it's over and loaded to YouTube. Oh, sorry, Nacho Tube. Anybody else having that issue? Because I'm getting good stream stats on my end. It hasn't even done that weird flat line this time. Is it? Oh, I blurred myself. Do intro music with Sun Ra. Okay. I've had a bad cough that hits me every night when I'm going to bed. Yeah, that's about the time of it. Yeah. Did I ever get my Terracotta Warrior? No, not yet. Aw, Susan, thank you. Susan's a new Patreon subscriber. Thank you, Susan. And Vegas Peeps, does Monday work for you guys? Monday night? Does that work? Because we're gonna do these. I'm big on making these Patreon hangouts a real thing, legit. So yeah, we are now. We've got a goal of 500. We're we're at 112, I think 113 depending. Let's see. I have to look it up real quick. Beg your pardon. 114. Look at that. Thank you guys. Yeah. I'm going to send out another link on there. Can you do a Patreon Google Hangout? Yes, although they don't have Google Hangouts anymore. So there's a version of it that I'm going to do. There's Get Vocal and some other ones. I'll try one of those. But yes, absolutely. Yeah, Google. I think they're already gone, aren't they, Kathy? I thought they'd already left. But if they haven't, then I'll do one, sure. My Patreon community, but still haven't received my... Oh, no. Well, Richard, we'll remedy that. I apologize. I joined the Blue Patch again on Patreon. I'm interested in your Wonky Donk podcast. Cool, Brandon. Did you, you guys get to watch that as soon as you're in. I'll check. You should be able to watch right away. If you sign up to be a Patreon, let me know, because I don't know how that works on that end. So if you guys sign up to be a patron, let me know if, as soon as you sign up, you're able to watch the stuff I posted, the podcast, the vodcast. What's not to like, subscribe. Exactly, for unclear. Thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joseph. Then I will do just that. Discord chat is a better idea? Oh, okay. But you can't do video on that one. I just feel, whoops, what happened? What happened? Oh, stream resumed. Oh, that was weird. Oh, you played TLK Knitting. You put a clip in there in the Twitch thing. That's cool. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna find that. I hate that, like, Twitch immediately, like, opens with volume on and everything. So, by the way, those of you that were asking about my the merch stuff, I'm a big fan of the merch that's available on the Streamlabs store. More than, like, quality wise, it's better than the other stuff that I've seen, and that's the part that bothers me about a lot of this stuff. Is like, you know, some of the Teespring stuff is okay. Some of, you know, but I was pretty impressed with the quality of the printing on the Streamlabs stuff, and it's all basically the same price and situation. So if you're trying to make a choice there, and you want a Zoltan shirt or something, that's where I would go. I heard. Let's wait. What choice did his handlers have? Can't put that doddering fool in front of a non-sycophant audience. Oh, the removal of the. Oh yeah, the audience from the All Black school. That part of it. Excuse me. That was amazing. There was. I just saw this. Part on it. Where is it? They literally kept everybody in rooms separate from him. Yeah. I don't even wrap your head around how do you not know that just looks awful? Yeah, where are they? Yeah, they apparently made everybody stay in their rooms if they weren't coming to the thing. Like, ugh, gross. The kids are suing for illegal arrest. Well, yeah. And the school will get, yeah. Yeah, 9 students went because they were pro-Trump or whatever, but everybody else stayed back, and then they flew or bust in. Oh, invited 9, 7 showed up. That's you're losing that percentage. That takes them down from 1% black support to 0.86%. 0.72%? No. Depends on how tall people are, I suppose. They got a gospel choir to fill in the seats. Really? Good God. That's right. I heard they were confined to their room. How do you confine black kids to their rooms and not recognize what that looks like? I mean, well, first of all, I guess maybe you revel in what it actually is. Maybe the idea that you can do that in this day and age excites you. But I find it horrifying. Yeah, madness. Okay, chat. So, Twitch question. You're planning on getting the new Sega Genesis. You mean the reboot one, or is the new system? Because they're coming out with a like a new like there's all kinds of these retro versions, that are coming out. Is that what you're talking about? Because I was never a Sega Genesis player, really. That wasn't my game system when I was a kid. That was after my time, and before I got one. So, yeah, the official Genesis system. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Still have a Wii. Yeah, Cam plays on a Wii U, I think, at his mom's house. Idiots enforce dumb policies, get paid as their only game. That's true. Liberty Housewives. Have you seen your birthday cake video on Twitter? And also, do you have any glamour shots of the picture cake? I do. I took those shots that we have. You have an Atari. That's sweet. Summer and I have the little like fake one, the retro one, but they're super fun. I gave my Wii to a former landlady who had a 10-year-old who never played video games. He was happy. That's awesome. I have to say, how Natalie took her boys to Not Scary Farm today, so so she's offline. I text her, she's down, but we needed time for Monday. Kiss mini golf. I'm thinking like 7 works for me. I'll text you or I'll message you, and we'll coordinate it. But LA patrons, if you want to join us, Vegas patrons, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. Can you share the picture cake pics? I will, absolutely. 7 works. Cool. So that means you'll be there about 9. Just kidding. Yeah. I can't wait to get on a plane and join you sometime. We're excited for you too as well, Julie. I just got an invite, and we'll see if it works out, to be in your neck of the woods in April in Europe for something special. We'll see if it works out. I'm always reticent about these kind of things. By the way, give us a thumbs up if you're watching right now. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Hi, post show. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there to pick you up wherever. Nice. Thank you. How about the Chicagoland area? So, Brad, I just talked to Driftglass and his Lady Blue about them joining us for a HSRPM there. I've got to talk to. I often leave this in Chicago's hands. We will. My goal is to batten down the hatches and knock this out because I want to do it before it gets cold. So it has to be done, I think, in the next 4 weeks would be my goal. So I have I got a show this Friday at Flappers. Blue Patch Brigade, you guys are all on the list if you want to come down to see the show. And then I'm going to go see my boy and go possibly to New York. There's some talk about that. We'll figure that part of it out for a charity event. And then I think it would be the week after that I'm on that cruise ship, which will make the show very interesting. If I'm pink now, I'll be green then. And it's cold and wet. That's all right. I don't mind. Just before it snows, essentially, is the big one. Hal, come to St. Louis where Kathy Griffin played at the Anheuser-Busch Performance Hall. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd love to, by the way. But we'll see. Yeah, so I'm doing a cruise. Yeah, I know. Ridiculous. Filling in for a buddy who had to ditch out on one and trying to keep him from losing the contract and stuff. And it'll be a good writing holiday and work holiday for me. Just saw the cleaning troll. Hal, now can we say the blacks don't want him there and he went away? No, because he still thinks he got an award from them, Billy. The man is completely deluded. It's a Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines cruise. It's from the 11th to the 17th of November. Going to like Puerto Rico and St. Thomas, I think. I'm doing a show every night. But it's only like because it's a cruise ship, it's like 25-minute sets, half-hour show. But I don't really do cruise ships very often, so I don't know what to expect from it. I've done one. I filled in for Roseanne when she ditched out for some gigs a while back. And it's kind of like the pickup dates I just did for here in Vegas, which were really fun. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna go see Linnell performing at Jimmy Kimmel's Club. She wanted me to stay and watch her show last Sunday because she was the late show on Sunday, but I couldn't. I needed to get back and spend some time with my girl. So I'm gonna go that. What about the Progressive Cruise? I would love for them to do another one. Do I like cruises in general? I've only been on one, so I don't know in general, but I enjoyed, and that was a fly in, fly out. I was only on the boat for 3 days of the 5 or 6 that they're on. This, I'm there for the whole run, so we'll see. But I love the water, and I love, I grew up on, fishing boats and sailboats and the like. So yeah, Hal, you be able to do a Saturday show November 16th on the cruise? I think so, Brad. I'm going to be apparently paying through the nose for internet on that day, but I'm going to do it. Hey, Georgina, thank you. Thanks for the sticker. Look at that. There you go. Thank you, Georgina Poole. Okay, that's why I can get this up here. Thanks for the super chat. She put a sticker on there on the thing. It's awesome. There should be consequences. Some things should happen to farm executives and the bank directors. Oh, don't get me started on the Sacklers, man. Jesus. I was in the Navy, so my cruises were way different, but my ex loved his jazz cruises. I love the ocean. Yeah, well, cruises equals floating germ vectors. Yeah, I'll be aware. My cruise to Norway was spectacular, as it would be. My stepmom is Norwegian. Some of you know that, I guess. And that's why I can say grace in Norwegian. Jesu namn, ge vi till bord, spes dreke, padde tord. Right? So. Yeah, Fancy Free on the Progressive Cruise, where I was that the one with Rachel where she was on with us? Because I played basketball against her and won. She's like a foot taller than me. She's a tall drink of water, that woman. She kept making fun of my beverages because she's a former bartender, and she joked about me drinking spa water all the time. Just wrong. Okay, so that was the one before it. She came to the second one, I think. Just off phone with sister. Her house in Santa Clarita is getting evacuated now. Oh, man. I went on the Air America cruise years ago. Got to meet Rachel, Paul Krugman, Tom Hartman. I think so. I was on one or two of them. I was on one of the two, I think. So, yeah. Yeah, Bobby Kennedy was on that one. I was there. I was just like thought of as the comic relief back then, not the grizzled old radio man you see before you right now. Do you do the James Randi event in Vegas? What's that? I don't know what that is. Who's James Randi? I guess not. I'll Google it. Retired state musician, scientific is going to change paranormal pseudoscientific claim. No. What's his event? Yeah, I'm very pink. It's the camera. I don't know what it is. I gotta figure it out. Can't figure it out. I'm very grizzled. You can tell. 420 cruise leaves April 19th. Of course it does. Get a jump start on it. Did the Delta Queen steamboat on the Mississippi, does that count as a cruise? Kinda. I think so. Yes, Mike Malloy was on that cruise. I had a great time talking to him and his wife at the time. They were like, Yeah. Thank you, Brad, for the internet on the cruise. Thanks. Oh, yeah. Well, it's apparently it's like minimum $25 a day. So that's I'm at least going to have to do it twice because I'm going to have to check it the day before. I'll probably check it the first day I'm on there, but I don't know if it'll be the same or where we're going to be docked on that Saturday morning. So does that mean, if we're in Puerto Rico, if I go find someplace with amazing internet and just do the show from there or something, and then get left behind on the boat, which would be crazy and hilarious because I'd be like, oh, just check. Oh, my God, the boat is leaving. Pack my crap and run. That would totally happen, by the way. The Sparks Cruise GoFundMe, that's right. I'm going to crowdsource my ability to, I need my entire setup to be waterproofed. Oh, wow, a show in Puerto Rico would be awesome. Yeah. I agree crew members and talent should get a discount, but they don't. Oh, what are you doing? My $80 for internet lasted me 7 days. Not bad. I was just. Oh, that's good. Yeah, Julie, it's way more expensive on these ships apparently. Back up the ship. We got to go. Right. Hey, Shell. How off topic, but my husband and I are watching one of the funniest wickedly entertaining series ever. It's called In the Dark. Ben Stiller's the executive review. You laugh a lot. Check it out. Oh, well, great. Okay. I will on your recommendation. That's good stuff. Yeah, so we have 114 patrons right now. It's pretty solid since we had 6 in April. When did I start this nonsense? May. Since we started really pushing in May, we had 6 back then. We now have 114. The goal is 500, but we're doing well. And I thank you guys. Some people are even jumping in and they're not doing the any of the regular tiers. They're just going like $1 or $1.99. Totally cool. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, even at that level, you get to see the podcasts when I post them, the video. So there you go. Yeah. Here's the info about this. Natalie and I are good for 7 p.m. No one told her I'd update her if you want. Excellent. Right. Yes, you are. Thank you, Julie Carroll. You absolutely are. Check your room for carbon monoxide. That'll pick you up. It's the cameras. It's not. I'm not actually this color. It is a little warm in here, though, but I don't think that's what it is. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn my fan on since I don't have to be on radio or whatever. Hold on. Phase 50's looking good. Holding it together. There you go. This is woke up, no workout, what I look like currently, physically. It's good. It's nice to this is what I used to look like leaving the gym when I was all pumped up, and now it's what I just look like walking around. It's good. It's a nice addition. It makes you feel pretty good about this stuff. So there you go. 116. What's 116? It's the curtains. Oh, you think? I don't have my curtains up. Here, wait. I'll take down the I'll take down the green screen for this part of the show and see if it takes some of the pink out. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's compensating for the green.
Well, we have a social media cold front moving in from the east, and then
this thing's sweet though. This thing works like a charm. Ta-da! That's my behind the scenes of the actual room, all that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, see, now I look a little more normal. A little more as my actual face. Yeah, so that's clearly what it is. Whoops. What happened? I don't know. I thought I had an entire setup, and I don't know why. That didn't work. That's some very strange kind of situation. I thought I got it all worked out, didn't I? So very odd, yeah? Try, see if we've got in the office. Go in the office here. Try to go to business. Try that. There. That's a little better. There we go. And the camera works a little better as far as quality goes, just for the volume of stuff. Ta-da. Better? Okay, there we go. Thanks. What's the weird glitchy box? Oh, it's not a box. It's my postcards. They're just a little bit green, so the green screen freaks out and tries to isolate them. I didn't realize that till early. It's my bad. Sorry. Here, I'll take out the green screen part of it, and that should solve it. Oh, the Twitch and YouTube are now in sync. That's weird. Is the green screen what slowed it down? That's so odd. Yeah, thanks, Can't Stop Lying, for mentioning that or whatever. I have yet, I'm curious if anybody gets one of the, I gotta shrink this guy down. There we go. One of the pieces of merch from Streamlabs, that the stitched ones. I haven't gotten any of those yet. The embroidered hats, the embroidered toques. I'm getting one of those for the winter. I just haven't ordered it yet, and I'm kind of excited. Green screens are not to be trusted. That's right. They're completely sketchy as hell. But Mars is no place to raise a child. In fact, it's cold as hell. Cheers, EO. Be well. Hal, you were on the February 2011 cruise with Robert Kennedy. I'm Grace Listen Marshall. Me. That's right. Thank you. Criminy. That's right. That was. Was that 2011? It seems like it was longer ago than that, but I guess they aren't. Yeah. Hate it when he says, oops. White balance not against blue. CalArts film. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, this is my actual skin tone currently. It's good. Although I am quite tired. It's been a long couple of weeks. What's Vickery doing? You never seem to rest. This is true. I do sometimes. Yeah. Peace. Wait, I'm missing what you guys are yikesing about. Are you going back to China? I believe so, but I'm not sure when. We're editing right now. How I'm having flashback to one of my best friend whose parents were from England. They had strong Cockney accents. Whenever we went to the corner store, we'd speak in Cockney to get attention. I think that's all right, you know? That's fine, you know? If you want to go down there and, you know, like get down to the store, buy some stuff. Hal, do you have any tats? No, I don't have any tats. I haven't got any tats. I don't have tats of any sort, right? Nothing wrong with people who do, but I just don't have any. I'm fine. You know? It's all right. I just, you know, I like them. I think, yeah, got a cat, but no tats. That's right. I got 3 cats, no tats. That's like how I roll. I've got a jacket that's got it embroidered across the back, don't I? That's right. Enjoyed a pirate brew, right? Yeah, I got a couple of hats. I like this one. Sometimes I forget, and it's got cat hair on it. Sometimes I make a mistake, wear it out in public. It's weird when you know, I'm so proud of the stuff that I've done. I've got Queer as Folk memorabilia and lab rat stuff, and if I wear it out in public, I look like a right dick. Sparks 13 minutes. Thank you. It's a rat's hat. That's right. Now that I'm old and wrinkled, I think I'll get tats because nobody can tell or get I'm old and wrinkled. That's right. Well, that's, that goes to the whole point I made, right? We're talking about the quality there, right? That in my case, I did a bit of my stand-up in Charmageddon. About people go, oh, aren't you worried about when you get old, that your skin's gonna look gross, and like it's gonna make your skin look bad. All skin looks like crap when you're old. Who cares if it's got a drawing on it? Sparks, the first show was troublesome, but improved after that. It buffered a couple times on YouTube for a few seconds each. Oh, thanks for letting me know. I've got to jump in here. I'm way back behind in that chat. Sorry. I've been reading off the other one for a while. Hey, Diviandri Cardona. Hello to you in Puerto Rico. I'll be down your way in a couple of weeks. You sound like a scooter thug in the 60s. Whatever you do, don't hire yes men. Someone won't tell you the truth. Don't do that, because if you do, I believe you'll be impeached. Speaking of English accents, I'm off to see Elvis and the Imposters tonight. I think that's fabulous. I think it's fabulous. You want to do that? Are you going to see the skinny, sexy Elvis? Or are you going to go see fat, bloated Elvis? Because I think I've told you before, that's my favorite Chris Bono joke. Now, the end is near, and so I face the shower curtain. Washington Examiner story on John Kelly just got released. Ugh. Well, the Examiner, they're the ones who created the dodgy dossier. Right? John Kelly, the adult who left the room. I feel bad that I left. Oh, shut up. I never hesitated to tell you when you were wrong, when I thought you were wrong. Kelly recalled telling Trump as he planned his amicable departure. I never hesitated when other people were trying to manipulate, well, whatever. But I said, whatever you do, and we were still in the process of trying to find someone to take my place. I said, whatever you do, don't hire a yes man. Someone won't tell you the truth. Don't do that. Because if you do, I believe you'll be impeached. Because you will commit a crime if no one's there to tell you not to commit a crime. What kind of garbage? What? That's the standard? Bit dodgy, isn't it? Yeah, that dossier, right? We think it's awful for you to go to a foreign country looking for dirt on your opponents, and we're going to prove it by going to a foreign country and looking for dirt on our opponents. Susan Hennessy stabs the story with, did you think he was running smoothly when he was... Yeah, exactly. That's just ridiculous. Maria Bettina was released from prison, got a hero's welcome back in Russia. Why do we let Russian spies go free? I just don't get it. Usually we do it in exchange for something, but in this case, we already got the thing. We got the quid pro quo in this case, which is Trump's going to get... They just added 4 floors to Trump Tower Moscow. That's why. Excuse me. So... Fat Elvis meets Fat Spider-Man. It'd be quite a show. Mm-hmm. No, is Amos doing? Oh yeah, I'm serious. Use the cocktails like sorry, but the English accent made me think of the commercial. Oh, Brad, he got something in return. We didn't, but he did. That's the thing. Sparks, I would not bet on Butina having a long life. I don't think you're wrong there. Yeah, Ted Danson got arrested. Did you see the, or Ted Danson? Just like Trump giving away stuff without getting anything in return. Yeah, there's. Yeah, see, the United States didn't get anything in return. Trump got stuff in return. Yeah, smell check. If only. So, yeah. Danson fixed it, right. Betsy DeVos was just held in contempt of court, and as a judge for holding loans of public school money. Yeah, and it looks like the State Department, the Department of Education is going to pay her fine. So, so you violate the public trust and the public has to pay for your sentence? Do we have to, if she got jail time, would we all go to jail for her? What's that about? Just $10K, and it won't be paid by her. Yeah. Beg your pardon. Man, I was over this cough too, and then it just snuck back in the last 2 days. Who isn't corrupt? Me. Bless you. Judge did say jail time not out of the question. Well, that's good. Well, I don't know. What do you guys? Where should we plan to spend our time in jail? Do we get a choice? Is it one of these Club Fed places? Are we going to the same place that Martha Stewart went? Because if we're paying her fine, why aren't we doing her time? We didn't do the crime. That's my rhyme. Sounds like you need more cough healing vibes. Thank you, Zelda. I do. I don't think I'm corrupt. I don't have anything to be corrupt about. Well, that's what you'd like to think, isn't it? That's yeah, of course. Thank you, Angel. I will wield my power with dignity and without an iron fist and a velvet glove, or however that works. That sounds dirty. Yeah. I'm starting the Attica chant wherever we go. Yes.
Sir, this is the Shelbyville Correctional Facility and Golf Tournament Headquarters. Please don't yell Attica. You're messing up the governor's putt.
I emailed my Republican representative asking for Trump impeachment, and I received a condescending response filled with lies which stated Biden tried to get a Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Jesus Christ. He didn't... Get up there. There you go. Again, please, guys, when you're talking about this stuff, when you're tweeting about this stuff, please refrain from the idea that this was about getting, quote, dirt on the Bidens. It was not. It was not. It was not. There's no dirt to be gotten. What they asked for was a speech. He wanted a Comey 2.0. Please stop saying that. You should never be out of your crystal skull. That's right. Arg. Now I've just spilled all over myself. It's like a pirate. Arr. Oh my gosh. Okay, 5 minutes. I'll wrap it up. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep you guys staying. Enjoyed Eddie Murphy's Dolomite movie on Netflix yesterday. I had no idea he was doing that. Great surprise. I knew he was doing it because everybody's talking about him for an Oscar. I have not seen it yet, and I'm excited. So I'm glad to know you like it. Why couldn't see the young pirate in the movie? Why couldn't the young pirate see the movie? It was rated R. Trump also asked China for damaging info, spread lies about Warren. No one is really talking about that. Yeah, because nobody actually, he's using that as cover. That it doesn't actually do it. Hell, you need a puffy shirt. I agree. I've been saying that for weeks. Hell, no, there was nothing on the Bidens. The media should be talking more about the Trump kids. That's definitely true. Hal, I've noticed you and Christian Bale could play twins in a movie. Am I wrong? That's weird. Do you know I'm completely insane? My favorite thing about Christian, man, I'll take that as a huge compliment. But Christian Bale has very, like, he had very British teeth growing up, let's just say, and he got all of them replaced. And you can tell he's Humphrey Bogarting his way through talking around them in American Psycho because he can't form words. That's right. I'm Patrick Bateman. Nah, I don't know. I have nothing in common with Patrick Bateman, except occasionally I have been known to do this in opportune times. If you guys know the movie. All right. That party was last night. Bunga and Jared holding their 10th anniversary party this Camp David. Paying for that as well. Allegedly, he's paying it back. I don't know when and where that is happening. I think that's a joke. He owes, $2 million to sites that he's done his I almost said riots, his rallies at. Yeah, that's right. We are here every Saturday, 9 a.m. Bookmark that, infotainmentwars.com. Come on. You can do it. Fantastic. I think it's terrific. Oops. DeVos brother found Blackwater. So they should have enough security layer. Yeah, she's not. Riots would be correct. I mean, Hal, speaking of that, did you ever see Joker? I have not yet. No. Nobody will go with me. And it's not the kind of movie I want to see alone in a theater. Not that I'm worried or anything. I just, like, it as far as the drive, like, there's a bunch of movies I'll go sit by myself and watch. I mean, I saw Endgame 4 times, and 3 of them were alone. No, 2 of them were alone. My buddy came with me to the second one. But 2 of them were alone. A long-ass movie. And that's true of Infinity Wars as well. So, but for, I'm like, all right, I will trust you at that. Now he says he shouldn't have to pay for rally security? Oh, God. Call me Hal. I'll go with you. Excellent, Brad. All right, it's a deal. Trish and I will go to Joker with you. Okay. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe. Oh. Whoops. Did we freeze? What happened? Okay. My computer got weird. How about Kiss Mini Golf movie afterwards? I like it. I've got a show Friday night, day after Halloween, at Flappers. Because it's the Friday, I'm guessing people are going to dress up on that Friday because a lot of Halloween parties are probably going to be on that night. What do you think? So I might do my entire show in costume. Still spinning. Uh-oh. Is that a problem? No? Okay. Well, it says I've got proper somethings on here. Do we have that? Let's see. That seems fine. Audio's good. Video's good. I mean, I've got rolling bandwidth is kicking it today. It's killing. So everything else is happening out there. Bye. Be well. Okay. You guys are good? Wait. 5x5 here. Killing it. Excellent. All good here now. Cool. You're live on Twitch. Fantastic. Yeah. If you're watching on Twitch, by the way, just below, you can see my merch thing, and there's my Instagram. You can follow me on there and all that kind of stuff. There's 3 viewers in 918 people watching and 3 folks in the chat. Look at that. Cool. What's up, people? How you doing? Good to see you. I don't know how I do subs and gift subs yet. We're going to have to do a masterclass in that later on, but we'll figure it out. New everywhere, but thank you guys for giving me your eyeballs. 918 views. on there. What's happening? Come on. Oh, froze again. What the heck? I can't. It's too high a quality. I'm just trying to download. That's what's happening. I'm trying to watch and not. Oh, yeah, you go. Refresh the stream to stop the circle of death is a good idea. Yes. Very good Instagram. Thank you. It's back. Yay. Now I'm starting to buffer. Yeah, I think at noon we hit the ratchet up. So I'm going to let you guys go. We will do some. I'll do some live streaming from the mini golf on Monday with the Vegas chapter, and get you guys to say hi. I think that would fantastic. It would be fantastic. I go to movies by myself too. If you're in Vegas, you can always hook up with me for movies. I usually do AMC on Rainbow. Has the Ultra Comfort. Yes, I'm a big fan of that one. I've been there myself. It's a good thing. So thank you guys. It'll be 7:00 Pacific time, and then we might pop back on at the end if we decide to go see Joker at the end of that and give a encapsulated review sitting around a table. How about that? I think that's a great idea. Carl, no problem whatsoever, sir. Hopefully I will see you guys Friday if you can avoid the fires and come up to the show. Flappers on Friday. It's always a special show there. I'm very excited about that one. Monday is the Patreon get together and stream, and then Friday is my Flapper show, which will also be available on the Patreon for free once you guys are on there. So if you join, you get to watch it. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. And we'll get back with you very soon. We'll see you guys next week. Friday we're seeing Lou Anderson and Rita Rudner. Oh, duh. I understand. I've been around for a while, and they're the new hotness. I'm just kidding. Where are they performing? That's awesome. Rita is very lovely, and so is Louis. Yeah, have a great Halloween, everybody. I still haven't decided on my costume yet. We'll figure it out. You're wonderful. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else, and I will see you guys next time. And for God's sake, thank you guys for all the support on the Patreon. Thanks for the green screen. Thanks for all the tech. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's immensely helpful. It just I can't begin to tell you. So you guys are fantastic. I will see you next time, and I will be streaming later on, probably late tonight on Twitch, playing the new Call of Duty after I figure out how to get it online and work up so that I'm not running around with a pea shooter while all these professional gamers have spent the last 48 hours, gack loading their guns like a bunch of jerks. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Take care. See you soon. Bye.